What is up, everybody? Spidey here, and as always, I hope you're having a marvelous day. I'm here with my friend, the one and only Manu.
Hello, my
People,
friend.
people might think we're 10 minutes late, but we're actually right on time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you. Hi,
We're,
good evening. Oh gosh, I gotta mute that. Silence.
do you realize that we're rolling towards 50 straight episodes, 50 straight weeks?
I'm proud of us, Justin. I am freaking proud of us, man.
It won't be long. We will say 1 year, but before we say that, we got to say hello to everybody in the chat.
Hello, friends.
Hey, we got Papa Juju, or Papa Leon, Papa Hits, Papa Spidey.
Leon, what up? What up?
We got hand four letters. He says, "Where's iBoy at?" I said he wasn't
Who,
invited.
who's iBoy? Hi, hand
Hey.
four letters. Hello.
He's an X-Men character in X-Men Metal.
Of course I would know who it is then.
He said we were late because Manu had to fix his hair.
And then I gave up and put a hat on because it didn't work out.
We got Diorama Rama saying, "Justin, how are you doing tonight?" I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Glad to be
What's
here.
up?
This is much needed time for me. I'm looking forward to it. And that was our winner from last week. And
Oh,
I don't know if
that's
you have,
right.
I don't know if you have his address. I sent a message earlier to get his address.
Oh man. I actually know his real name. I'm not gonna say it. Very good to see you. I've already sent his package out, my friend. He's already received it. We've
All right.
already,
Share the address with me if you don't mind. You know, he
I'll
may have
send
sent
it
it
to
to
you.
me.
He'll send it. Yeah.
Okay. But you haven't even said anything about the new digs.
Oh, I haven't had a chance to. I haven't even looked at them. I haven't had a chance to absorb. Oh, I see
Yeah.
the neon sign. It's looking
Yeah.
good. We got to do a proper tour, my friend.
How's it looking back there?
It's looking great. And guess what? The comic books are within view.
Yeah, they're within view. That's for you.
I love it. It's looking, dude. I love the sign. I love the sign. I love everything.
Thank you. The West Coast says Manu is just finishing up watching first phase of MCU.
Yes, that is. You know me so well, Dave. Dave, I tell you, you got me
Brittany,
figured out.
we got Brittany back in the show. Brittany,
Hey, Brittany, how are you? Good
how
evening.
are you doing? Thank you for being here. It's always nice to see your name popping up regularly.
I love it. Hello.
Mr. Jahari 16, waiting for dinner, but be ready. But to be ready, we're good to watch this for a few minutes.
Well, dang. I hope we give you something exciting in the first few minutes. But thank you for being with us. Maybe once dinner's over, you'll join us again. And I hope you have a nice dinner.
We'll be second course. Marvelous Pack says, "What's up, degenerates? How's it going, my friend?"
Hey.
By the way, when you put an emoji on YouTube, this is how I see it in my version of the chat.
Right.
Hand purple heart peace. What's up, everybody? Yeah, our vintage Lord, everybody, if you're looking at the thumbnail and you're saying, well, that's the only reason I'm here, we're going to get into a top 10 list of comic book characters.
Mm-hmm.
and probably even a little bit deeper than that. So just know that that's what's coming. But Vintage Lords asked this question: Wonder Woman's ahead of Wolverine on the chart? Like, how is that?
Yeah, since we are speaking a little bit about what's going to happen this evening, we are, I believe, covering the Fanatics news. They're going to be entering the world of live. I think we're also going to be covering what's happening with ComC and their partnership with CGC.
We probably should. That video dropped today.
Oh, did it? Wait, you dropped that video today?
I dropped it today at 5:30, man.
Oh, dang. Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but that's cool. We'll do a little bit of just a little teaser then. A little teaser.
We'll do that. No, we can cover it all. It needs to be covered to serve everyone in the chat because they may have seen it.
Sure. Okay.
And if not, that's fine.
Fantastic.
But yeah, we got a lot of news, man. That was big news. In fairness, I've known about it for a long time and been waiting for it to happen. In fact, the buildup of ComC videos that you've seen on this channel has been in preparation for the CGC ComC partnership and news.
And it's good of you to not have released that information because that would have been insider trading and we would have had an unfair advantage.
Is that what that would have been?
I guess. I'm just trying to make myself feel better about the fact that you never told me.
Okay, good. Copper Pot Collectibles, how's it going, man? Nice to have you here. I love it when people have, a name that's related to their hobby, and then they get a brand and everything associated with it. I like that. I like the Copper Pot logo there.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of branding, Jojo Ejimbi, how's it going?
Hey,
Been waiting for this to start for like 14 days.
I'm sorry.
Well, all right. So I did something different than I've done before. I posted this, you know, on YouTube that it was coming up way earlier than I normally do,
Yeah.
mainly because Manu didn't like my thumbnail.
I just thought it was a little cluttered, but then Justin sold me on what the benefits of that thumbnail were, and you wanted to test it. Yeah.
I sold it to you like you were sold. You're sold on the testing.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I'll go with what Justin said. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
there. I'm on this boat.
I thought, hey, I think this is actually going to create some excitement. People will want to be here to be in this conversation. So that's why I did it. But that image came from James Gunn, the guy running DC now.
Yeah, right. Yes.
So kind of interesting there to see him kind of pointing this out and saying that he agrees with it. Really, that was to me what was most interesting.
Yeah, yeah. We'll definitely talk about that. It's going to be good discussion.
Sweet, sweet. Who else we got here?
Ron Customs. Hello, Constantine. Cheers.
Yeah. Right on time. Okay, we can hold on. All right. Hey, we have Scandell here. Scandell was on this show recently. Really appreciate him. But yeah. Scandell, I'm going to call you out publicly because I know you can handle it. I've texted you like twice. You haven't responded. But I owe him an edited video. I owe him an edited video. And so I need him to respond to my text so I can give him the edited video.
Well, see, now the ball's in his court, so you've bought yourself some time. That is good. At Card and Comic Free. Hello, my friend. Hello. Congratulations on a successful trade.
Yeah. Patrick Chan. We got TBC. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, True Blue.
I guess they just finished up their show. They had a show where they opened up Unbound. And
nice.
Guys, hope you did well. Be sure to check out their channels if you want to see what that was.
I have an Unbound card.
From what?
I know that sounds crazy. I have the Shiny Carnage Unbound card. Our friend RMS, we did another trade, and he likes to include gifts, and that's one of them. And I told him, I said, brother, I never would have had this if it wasn't for you or weren't for you, whatever it is. So thank you.
Hold on. Yeah. So he transferred it to your e-pack as a gift, or did he mail it to you?
He mailed it to me. I have a physical Shiny Foil Carnage card.
He must have mailed that home as soon as he got it.
Dude, he is so quick with shipping. He's lightning fast. Lightning fast. So thank you for that.
I'm bringing balance to the world because I'm not. Your birthday present's still sitting right here.
It's all good. Listen, next year's another birthday.
It's coming.
God willing, next year's another birthday.
I love that. We got Spider K. We got the amazing Spider guy. What's up?
What's up, my man? How are you? What are you building today? Every time I'm in his story, he's constructing.
He is. He's been at it. Andrew P. Can we just talk about his Instagram for just a second?
Can we please? Yes.
That dude is slaying it on the. I look at it and I feel insecure about my collecting.
I feel insecure about my intellect after I look at his page. Let me tell you, his page. It's creative. It's artistic. It's genius. It's clean. Not only that, literally, I learned something every time he posts. Just today, he posted something in his story. So it's his feed and his story about how McFarlane originally sketched the ASM 300-301 sketch, and what his intention was, what he proposed to Marvel was the black suit version. Let's do that for direct edition distribution copies, and the red and blue Spidey, let's have that be the newsstand distribution. And Marvel gave him backlash. They said, hey, we don't do this variant cover thing. No one's going to buy 2 covers of the same book. Jokes on Marvel, because that's all the whole world does now. But that was his original intention. And I learned that from Andrew today.
I didn't know that. Could you imagine hunting that newsstand?
Dude, that would have been, that's just remarkable. And that makes me feel great about newsstands too, just to hear McFarlane talk about it.
Look, not that Andrew P_CC is asking for people to be on his IG channel. He's not. But look, here it is. I mean, just straight 90s. First of all, just to get the light right on 2 hologram cards at the same time, like that is, and those are not easy to get positioned. And look at this 9.5 Spidey over here.
And look at the bed of cards it's laying on. Andrew strikes me as a creative director. Yeah. And I mean, just the eye that he has and the execution for the vision that he's visualizing is impeccable. Like, my hat's off to you, good sir. I think you know how much I love your page and how much respect I have for you, but I will say it over and over again.
I'm telling you, I'm in it. I've got him favorited. I want to see everything that he posts. 100%.
I love it.
It
It's such a good page, man. And
really
it's
is.
just the beginning of it. So we're here for the entire journey.
All right. You want to get into it? You want to get into this top 10 list?
Yeah, let's go for it. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry we missed a few names, but stay with us. We will have conversation throughout the night. Thank you for being with us. Let's do it.
We will. I just know that this is also what's bringing a lot of people here to the discussion. So I want
You're
to bring
right.
it up.
You're right.
And let's see. I don't know if I can make that any bigger, guys. Really don't.
It's pretty clear though. There's no problem seeing that. Oh,
Bam!
there you go.
How about that? So here we got. So again, James Gunn posted this, and he's running DC. He's been doing a lot at Marvel Studios, particularly with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I believe Thor. But he posts this list, and he says, "Yeah, pretty accurate. Something of that nature." And I reposted it on my story. It got a lot of traction, and I think Manu, you kind of felt the same way that James Gunn did, right? Initially seeing this, and let me go through the list: Batman
Yeah.
number one, Spider-Man, followed by Superman and Iron Man, then Deadpool, Captain America, Wonder Woman, then Wolverine, Hulk, then Thor.
Overwhelmingly, I agree. Like the top two, I agree. I agree that Batman is more popular overall than Spider-Man. I think. Like I have no trouble agreeing with that. I wouldn't argue that. But when you get into the weeds further down in the list, and it's important that you pointed out, this is a 2016 list. A lot has changed for Deadpool and stuff. Iron Man obviously belongs up there at the top. He might even lap Superman at this point. I don't know. But like someone said in the chat here, the Wonder Woman over Wolverine, like I'm not sure the relevance of Wonder Woman in pop culture momentarily, so maybe I question that a bit. Not that I question her popularity, but I don't hear too many. I don't know. That's like kind of two different camps. Wonder Woman and Wolverine, they don't necessarily pop up in the same conversation too often. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, and I feel a bit at a disadvantage for this particular type list because it does include DC, and my brain kind of has a blocker on it that doesn't just see that for probably what it is as a whole from a collecting movie, comic, merch standpoint. I think that Batman hands down is number one from a total everything, movies and all of that, with Spider-Man being really, 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 really close. And this list kind of pictures that. Spider-Man, I think, continues. He says this list is dated 15 years. I think Spider-Man actually will become number one overall. I think it will take over Batman at some point. But it's the rest of the list that I don't really jive with. And look, let's call out a couple of things on this that's interesting, right? The list says 1980 to 2021. Sources, multiple theater surveys. Okay. And then at the bottom it says 2016 ranking something. I can't see it because of.
I guess I'm confused about this then.
I'm confused as well. And everybody, we're going to get to the chats here in a second. But with that being said, this definitely feels more driven by theaters. Okay. So what movies have we had? Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, Iron Man. These are the movies that we've had. But Iron Man, Flash not being on here, I'm going to point this out. Somebody says it's lacking the Flash, not just the Ezra Flash, but Flash as a whole. Well, there hasn't really been a Flash movie. So that explains that.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I agree with this list for sure. And I don't even know if I agree with it from a movie standpoint. Because some of these, like Deadpool being that much above Captain America, that probably is just generated by the number of the dollars that those movies made. Because Deadpool was very successful financially. So what would a list not based on just movies, like just a superhero top 10 list, regardless of DC or Marvel, how would that look for you? And how much would it vary from this?
Oh man, I would need to hit the drawing board.
Well, I'm going to help you out there, bud.
Yeah.
All right. So let me give you, I've got this list here.
And
All right,
Blanca,
here,
please elaborate. Hello, but let me know what's interesting with the interesting face emoji. That's a cliffhanger.
that's a cliffhanger. Keith says he's triggered. So, oh, we got Steve Dog here. What's up, my friend?
Yo, what's up? What's up?
So here's the list as I have it: Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, and then from there I would probably go X-Men as a whole, not just like.
I like that. I
You see what I'm
like
saying?
that. Mm-hmm.
And here's what it's hard to jump into the mind of people younger than yourself sometimes. So the next I would actually do is Iron Man and Captain America.
Okay.
From there, I would do. Oh, this is hard for me to say.
Were you putting X-Men there as a whole? That was your way of cheating to include Wolverine higher than your gut told you it would be.
Just the way it's packaged.
Right.
That's just how they're packaged.
All
Okay.
right. Got you. Got
You with me on that?
Yeah.
By the way, Spider-Man to me is Miles Morales and Peter Parker.
Sure. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Together.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
It makes no sense in my mind to separate those two moving forward.
I'm with that.
So after Iron Man and Captain America, I'd probably have to put some DC characters like Wonder Woman and Joker. And then to round out that, I'd probably go The Flash and probably Thor to finish the top 10.
Okay. I don't have a problem with your list.
It was hard to include all the DC characters, but it's real. You know, they have real fans. All right, let's go to the chat here. Let's go back up here to the top. Start here with West Coast. He says Wonder Woman movie was released in 2017. The hype could have contributed to the popularity on that list. Make sense?
Yeah, could be. Absolutely.
So do you think that James was like deliberately using misinformation to pump up what he's now the head of? People don't do that, do they?
Yeah, right. People with billions of dollars at stake don't do things like that to make sure their investment stays in the green or the black, the green, the black. I don't remember.
Keith says, exactly, Dave. This list was made by my parents. Yeah. I wonder how they surveyed. I'm not sure what 1980 to 2021 means. I'm telling you, the more I look at this list, the more I think it just served a purpose rather than being like really factual. But James, was like, hey, Mr. Gunn was like, I align with this list. That battlefield scene from the first Wonder Woman was great. The first Wonder Woman was great in general because it mirrored to me Captain America, the first Avengers. And I like both of those movies. Right, Manu?
Yes. Ditto.
Hold on. Got some intel on an aspect of when this was y'all ready.
The ready light is on.
Yeah. Do I? Hold on.
Cross Bronx Collectibles. What's up?
I'm ready. Where are you at, bud?
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready.
Does he need a link?
This is like when I get a message from someone and they're like, I have a question for you. And then they, wait for me to see it, for me to be like, okay. And then I got to wait for the question. Like, just hit me with it.
Hold on. All right, Brian, are you saying you want to come on? Let me know. Just say cinema. That's what Marvelous Pack says.
Why not? I like the word cinema.
Hopefully we can get a Green Lantern show that puts him higher on the list. I actually kind of like Green Lantern when it comes to DC characters.
Brian's joining us.
All right, let me get this for him. Hold on one second. Everybody, we got some secret intel from Mr. Brian.
This is going to be my first time hanging with Brian.
You haven't hung with Brian before?
This segment is now called Hanging with Brian.
Hanging with the Amazing Spider Guy.
And that's what spiders do. They hang.
This is true. You're quick.
I actually have a short kid story, children's story that I wrote, and there's an entire scene of spiders, quote unquote, hanging out. So yeah, we'll talk about that later.
You're not lying to me?
No.
Okay, good. Good. All right, let's get back here to the list as we wait on Mr. Brian. Let's see. Deadpool broke records for the most selling movie tickets. As I was talking out loud, I was remembering, Deadpool was a big deal in the theaters and will be again. Oh, talk about ready. Boom.
Oh,
there
is
he
that?
is.
Yo, what's up?
Oh,
Evening, gentlemen.
Hugs.
everybody, the one and only the Amazing Spider Guy, also known as Brian Peregrine.
Nice
Did I say
to
that last
see
name
you.
correctly?
No, that's why we just go with the Amazing Spider Guy.
All right. Give me the correct pronunciation.
It's Peregrina.
Yeah, I would have not got there.
Peregrina. What a fancy, lovely name.
Peregrina. It's
Peregrina.
like the water. It's just like the water, except I don't get royalties.
Right.
No, it's like a
It's
Peregrina socks. Like you have a Peregrina socks. Like Never mind.
A pair of green
no,
socks.
because yours are green, but I want greener ones. So do you have a Peregrina ones?
All right, Brian.
Okay.
What is your intel, my friend?
Right. So we're gonna I love this, by the way. This is just awesome. Like the fact that you've decided to take something that you would usually tear down a house and just cause family mayhem and best friends to just not be friends anymore.
Right.
This is hotter than a hot air balloon right now. This is topical. So I like it. It's divisive. So there's a report, right, in all of my studies that are going on right now in Marvel and with what you guys know that I'm working on behind the scenes. So there is a report that exists it's a little dated. It's from 2014. So that's okay. Already going to tell you how much more this could be. But when we start talking dollars and cents, right, which I know is a different aspect of this, we're looking at movies. There is a huge delta between number one and number two as far as global merchandising. Could you guys guess who number one is, and then maybe the over under on what that would be?
All right, so let me frame it just to make sure. So we're talking about dollars, which includes movies and merchandise.
Not even movies, but merchandising.
Merchandise,
product,
and we're talking about just DC Marvel characters, correct?
DC Marvel characters, yeah.
Global merchandise. I mean, without really knowing, just using some conversations here and there, it would seem like Spider-Man would be number one. That's what I mean, that would be my initial gut response, but the way you're teeing it up just has me thinking maybe not. But
so Batman, or DC, I should say. Let's say, so Batman does $494 million annually in 2014, right? So this is post Christopher Nolan films. There is kind of a gap in the movies, right? But it's still kind of at an all-time high. Superman was at 277 million.
Okay.
The Avengers were at 325.
Oh, wow. All of them together.
Right. All of the Avengers I guess pitched as the Avengers, right? We're not talking about individual Iron Man sales, but anything that was Avengers memorabilia and merchandise. Spider-Man is at 1.3 billion.
Gotta love it.
Wow.
Gotta love it.
That is not even close. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you start stacking these numbers in terms of popularity, it does make me wonder, where are all the drivers for that? Movie tickets? Are we talking gross sales for tickets? Are we talking merchandising? Are we talking how many times they're hashtagged and tweeted? Or what are those measuring sticks?
I like that you bring this up, because I'm going to go ahead and say that merch for me is the strongest metric in popularity, because that's what kids are begging their parents to buy them. That's what parents are buying their kids. That's popularity to me. So there you go, man. Spider-Man by a windfall, or what is it called? Landslide. But that's from 2014. You're saying, how has that changed in the last 8 years, 9 years, 7 years, whatever time it's been?
Yeah. How would you scale that to 2023?
Well, Spider-Man's just gotten more popular.
Yeah, you've gotten more consistency. You've got more movies. You've got a bigger story arc. He's touching more points now in the world and pop culture than ever before. You know, you've got Tom Holland doing lip sync battles that's going to live on the internet forever. You've got, you know, I mean, Spider-Verse, right? We've got 2 different Spider-Man movies and storylines running in succession. That's how popular it is. Like two silver screen, like stories, which is kind of wild. You can't say that you can release 2 Batman movies in 1 year and everyone would be okay with it, right? Like it's kind of a.
I don't know that I agree with that. I actually think they're going to do 2 Batman movies,
an
maybe not
animated
every
and
year,
live.
but well, they already do animate and live. That's been happening, but not at the scale. Like there hasn't been a Batman animated movie that's even glimpsed into the Spider-Verse.
No, I mean, Phantasm might be the closest. Is it Phantasm or?
Yeah. Now that you said it that way, Phantasm. I think. Yeah, I think that's right.
I think. Yeah, I'm actually.
Phantom Menace.
No, that's a really good one. I do believe it went to the theaters, but I don't think it did well in the theaters.
No, and that's the thing, right? Like, is there a DC animated movie or a Batman animated movie that would be even close to what Spider-Verse is doing? Is there any? I know DC is really good at the animated stuff right now.
For sure, they're good at it, but it doesn't. It's not theater. Like it's good just for what it is.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't realize the gap was that big.
I can't imagine there being that much more dollars to be made up by Batman in the last 6 years. You might have seen an uptick in the last 18, 24 months on account of the Batman. But even still, right, if I peruse my local Target store, I'd say a lot of that Batman product is sitting, right? It's not as empty as for the other shelves, a lot of the other action figures. And then you look at, well, Batman wasn't marketed towards kids. It was a much darker flick. It wasn't Tim Burton. It wasn't, even though Tim Burton, by contrast, is still kind of dark.
Well, his Batman movies were really dark, but I really enjoyed them.
Right. Great flicks, but do they sell toys, right? And is every kid picking up the comic books still? It's kind of.
Well, I mean, on the toy aisle with what McFarlane's doing with Batman, it is a bigger section than in that scale of Spider-Man, but Spider-Man on every aisle popping up in some fashion, I think is bigger, you know, whether it's plush or whatever type of toy. This is a very interesting conversation. What would you say then, like 10 years from now, how does the list change or does it?
Oh man.
And then I'll have a follow-up question too after that one. But I do want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, a lot of that, right? I'm also looking at, you know, Manu, you said something earlier that was really poignant. It's like, yeah, who would ever, you know, use misinformation to protect their assets, right? Like quite literally have one of the most valuable assets on the board in play by Disney. And do I see them mishandling that in a way that would knock him down, say 75% of what he's at today, and have him be producing at a similar level as, say, Batman?
Spider-Man?
Yeah, assuming the levels still exist.
Well, I actually think that's what puts Spider-Man at risk, is that Disney doesn't have full control.
That's true. I didn't think of that. I would then say that it wasn't so much the Disney aspect. It would be all the stakeholders, right? So you have all of these people that are collecting a paycheck based on the performance of this asset. And they've on paper agreed to say, hey, we're going to team up and make sure this performs well, even though we might have conflicting interests, be Sony v. Disney creatively, or however they decide to use the property. I don't want to say it's too big to fail. That's always like the first indicator that it will fail. But I look at it similarly to Star Wars, right? Like Star Wars for a lot of people has like fallen by the wayside. They're not as happy with it in theaters. TV's done pretty good. And so they managed to balance it out in a way where that still maintains cultural and pop cultural relevancy. They can still cash in on their merchandising and produce and see 10, 15 years into the future. So I think they're smart enough to keep that going in a way where I don't see those margins changing a whole lot. If Gunn breathes some new life into DC and takes what he's learned from Marvel and either does or does not apply certain things to make DC better and perform, at parity, then I could see the margins shrinking between, say, the number 1 Spider-Man spot and number 2 Batman. I think Avengers is going to continue to shrink on account of that team kind of being in constant, not disarray, but right. We've taken 10 years of cinema and everything we've loved about RDJ and what he brought to the character, and Chris Evans and everyone else that like makes up what we envision, our generation envisions as the Avengers. And that also makes me think about how you just said it's hard for me to view this through the eyes of a younger audience. I look at it primarily through mine. That's why I'm not in marketing. So
yeah, I mean, like a really good example is people our age. You're going to find them, and I'm not thinking of this because he's here. I just happened to look up to see his name, but people our age, you're not going to find them collecting much Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. Fast forward X number of years into the future, when that age range you grew up with the movies, they're going to think of Guardians of the Galaxy in a totally different way than we do. Like, who are they? What, we're surprised it made a good movie, right? But it did, fascinating characters. I think that you're going to see some of that change into the future because of how, the generational change in what we like and collect, change over time. But I think Spider-Man is pretty safe moving into the future because of not only the popularity that's already in place, whether young or old, but when you look at the current driver of the popularity of these Marvel characters, Spider-Man is actually early in his movie development when you really think about it. When you think about the fact that the first 3 Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland really didn't move the narrative that far into the future, and he's still figuring out he literally, after all of the Avengers movies, after spots in after the Spider-Man movies, he just now got told with great power comes great responsibility. Just now. And then they just reset it because no one remembers them. And now we're going to start getting the Disney kind of new version of the animated stuff, the Disney version, not the Sony. No, we have that. We got it. So I really think that it's really interesting the runway that sits out in front of Spider-Man.
Is the animated stuff that Disney's doing? That's TV though. That's not movie, right?
That's correct. It'll be on Disney Plus.
Right.
In his high school years.
Yeah, and I'll watch that. It's just obligatory watch, even if it's like not targeted to me. It's like, right, man, I got it.
So I think that's interesting. The X-Men are really interesting to me as well, just because they can reset that. I know they're going to milk, the golden goose of Wolverine and Deadpool one good time for sure. But they can totally reset that and create as much runway with that as they want to. But to your point, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't know you could milk a goose.
No, milk that cow, but then I was thinking of the golden goose of I bet you can milk it. Anything with tits you can milk.
Oh my gosh.
Justin, go wash your mouth out.
No, isn't that
with milk, Justin? Oh, stop.
No, do you remember the movie? Was it Meet the Fockers?
Yeah, Meet the Parents, yeah.
What?
Meet the Parents?
Brian, what have you done to Justin tonight?
I had nothing to do with this.
Oh yeah, that is a line from that movie. I did watch that movie. I like Robert De Niro. That's the man right there.
Yeah.
Charles, in response, sorry to cover you up, Brian. I'll change it in just a second. But he says, being a very popular Marvel character does have limits, upside potential, as they're already expensive. I love speculation.
Oh, Charles.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was having a little. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
I was just having some connection issues, and I missed a little bit of the conversation. I just wanted to say, like, if you guys were even like a little bit Spider-Man fans, I'd say you guys had credibility in your assessments. But like, I'm not listening to either of you two.
It's definitely weighted.
Look, I'm as I look at literally everything Spider-Man. I
No, I
try
know.
to.
Yeah.
I'm attempting to remove my fandom from it, or like the idea that like I'm going to try to sell all this Spider-Man stuff one day to somebody or something crazy like that, and just think about the property itself. I do think it has a lot of runway to it. I do think X-Men has the biggest upside right now in terms of like what it can become. And X-Men is nowhere near the household name of Spider-Man.
Nowhere near.
Nowhere.
At one point in time, they might have been very close, but like Spider-Man has created this gap that apparently, everyone has to try to fill. And X-Men's got a long way to go to become what Spider-Man is today, right now.
All right. So Keith says, where's X-Men as a whole, Deadpool included? I think, let me pull up my list. I think I had them at 4th.
I think you did. Yeah. I think you had Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, X-Men. No, you had X-Men at 3rd.
I had him behind Superman.
Okay, he was 4th. Okay, or X-Men
was
4th.
I think right now they're still behind Superman for sure.
When you first showed me this graphic and I commented about it, I was like, you know what, I agree with this. What you guys were saying at the beginning of the show was this. At first glance, at least, if I look at the top 4 or so, I'm like, this does make sense. And my argument, in counter of the narrative I've been pushing is Batman has been around longer. Superman has been around longer. You've got an exponential amount of generations that have grown up and this has been passed down. It'd be curious to get a hardcore mid-60s Batman or Superman fan, on the line and be like, hey, what was Batman to you growing up? Or like, how did you see this shift and what influenced like your fandom and involvement? Because like, I know I've stepped back from Marvel or Spider-Man or Star Wars or whatever I'm into, and then something brings me back in, years, maybe a decade later. So I'd be curious to see how that works. We could kind of see into the future to see how people have stuck with or dropped off the map with regards to certain superheroes.
I think it's about storytelling. I don't know that it's as much more than that. I mean, Batman has a great story that can be retold and people will enjoy it and they'll gravitate towards it over and over and over again. I think Spider-Man has something similar, and there are elements where their stories are similar as well when you really start to break it down and look at it. So I think that's what creates the longevity there. Of course, you connect that to the Dark Knight and kind of just the symbol of being this person who's executing justice in the middle of the dark, evil times. I think that's really something that we gravitate towards. And then you have a young teenage kid grappling with the fact that he has all this power, but it seems to actually hurt the people he cares the most about, but yet he has to continue to show up and fight these battles over and over again. I think that's really special. So I think storytelling is a big part of it. And I don't know that goes away even as generations turn over, because people that are living today, for the most part, I know they're, people older than this, but they're almost all the people who are actively collecting still have always had Batman and Superman. There hasn't been much time when they didn't have one and not the other.
True.
All right, let's see. We've got a disagreement here from Dave. He says, Keith, XX Ronis XX. True, but in the last one came out, 2 Spider-Man games were released, unless you count the new Arkham game, which flopped. And I think he's referring to video games. Here we go. Spider-Man is one of the most successful video game franchises, and Dave says that Batman does as well, is what he's saying there. And we can't underestimate the impact the video games are having and will continue to have. It didn't impact my fandom for either character. I was already a fan, but I could see how it is having an impact moving into the future. And I do think Spider-Man's currently winning that, immediate race with the last 2 video games that came out. Marvelous Pack says Spider-Man's overprinted. Do you agree?
Yes. I mean, wait, no. I mean, I don't want to agree that easily with that statement. What does that mean, overprinted?
We're talking books, right?
I don't want to read too little or too much into it, but as long
more
as
overprinted than DC.
I can't say it's overprinted.
Yeah. Refer back to the $1.3 billion
Right? They've been incentivized to overprint it. People keep consuming it.
Somebody's buying.
That makes sense. Raptors fan says, does the list include villains like Joker, Thanos, Magneto, and Ultron? And at this point, the only villain I'm putting on the top 10 is Joker, and I do think he currently belongs there.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think he still moves the needle. He's the only villain I can think of right now that has a solo movie.
Venom.
He's that dope. Yeah.
It's not a great movie, but it's a movie.
Right, but he was portrayed as a hero, though.
Well, I guess he's always been an anti-hero, but he's been considered a antithesis of Spider-Man, right?
Your response is correct, but not in the essence of the question that was asked.
That's fair.
Our friend Andrew R.S. Cali would like to put Submariner in here somewhere. He needs it. He needs it in here somewhere.
Why?
The list goes to 100.
He loves Submariner.
Oh, the list goes to 100.
Hello, Andrew. Good evening.
That is a great job, Brian. I really appreciate that response.
You're all right.
Yeah, the list goes to infinity. Your person eventually gets on there. Let's scroll back up here. Wolverine ranks higher. So, like in what way? Let me ask this question. All right. If you could own one of these characters right now, moving forward, not what they've done already, but just moving forward, who would you want to own?
It's like modern day slavery? What is it?
No, like the brand.
Okay.
Brian, thanks. No, we're talking about owning the brand. Like, think of it as like it was stocks. Like you own it like a stock. Moving forward, which one would you want to own?
Are we allowed to sell whenever we want, or do we have to own this thing forever?
That's up to you.
Wolverine's got huge growth potential to make some money and get out if you want to buy him now.
And he has the ability to be like multiple characters. It doesn't just have to be the Logan character. He has kind of the Spider-Man ability.
There's versions.
But if you're just talking about something to own PC, if you want me to PC something, I'm taking Spidey.
Taking Spidey for sure.
Spidey's a blue chip. You know, if you look at that chart over time, it's going to be up and to the right, even if there's some dips in between.
Right.
You hold
He's real
Spidey,
estate.
you're going to do it. He's real estate. He's property.
He's real estate. Real property. It's always going to be a need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like you. I think Wolverine is someone that I think does have a tremendous potential moving forward. Right now, this list only has one female.
Mm-hmm.
That I think changes moving into the future. I think it's obviously going to take a lot of work for that to happen at that level. But I do think that eventually does happen. I think we see one or two females, whether it's Captain Marvel, Ghost Spider, Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's actually already up there. I don't know if she's not in the top 10, but I think she's probably the next one on the list.
Black Cat. I can't wait till Black Cat makes it on one of the charts.
Oh yeah.
We talk about speculation in movies and everything Sony has kind of in the pipeline. I'd love to see a Black Cat flick. I just don't know if I want to see it through the hands of Sony.
Oh, I would be so heartbroken if it sucked. I'd be so devastated, man.
But how do you do her, even her origin story without Spidey involved?
I don't know. It'd be tough. Raptors fan Ultron, we've had to take off of the list because it's too unfair. Like he's at the top of every list, so we couldn't even consider him.
Who?
Ultron. Yeah, exactly. Who?
Were you here that night, Brian? Whenever Manu didn't know who Ultron was?
Yes, I saw that. It was hilarious. Learning something new every day.
Brian, what are you eating? I'm curious.
I've made myself dinner.
I'm glad you're eating.
Dinner's a theme tonight.
Yeah, we've got some chicken, some wine.
We're
make
not
that screen big. Oh, I wanted to make it big, and you got rid of it.
He's like, that's not the content we're here for.
I wanted to make it big. I was like, make it big, and he did the opposite. Oh my gosh.
Do a different one, cooking with Spidey.
I like what Dio6 says. He says, huge backstory for Wolverine to make movies on. He's not wrong. Like, you could literally go back for years and years and retell all kinds of stories that haven't even been told for Wolverine, because he has forgotten memories, and those could pop back up.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. Dan, hoping this debate helps my eBay page.
Well, tell us more about what's on your eBay page. We'll pump it.
All right. We got two good things here. Model Madness says Wolverine is real estate. Wolverine is like a barn dominium. It's popular right now, but I don't think it lasts.
Iron Man is like
I'm kidding.
A barn dominium? I've never heard that. That's funny.
Yeah.
A barn dominium.
Convert a barn into a house that you can live in, park your tractor in. It's appealing to some people. Scandale disagrees with the female comment, and I guess he's disagreeing with the fact that I believe that in the future there will be more females in the top 10. Have you looked at the population growth? Have you looked at the income growth? Have you looked at who's doing better in math and science? Like, who's going to be, whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter.
I like females better than men.
Yeah. Like, I'm not making an argument whether it should or shouldn't. I'm just saying, like, everything's trending, like the data points to. I'll give an example. In my world, which is real estate, hands down, without question, the decision makers I'm talking to about finances and buying real estate is the wife and the female in the household, period.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to continue to drive the economics in the future is what I'm saying. The paradigm shift, though, that is happening, and that's probably not as easily seen by three dudes sitting on screen right now, is the demographic of women that are getting more and more into comics and all of what has traditionally been a very male dominated kind of world, right? So like that, the margins of the pie are changing. Whether or not that's going to push it to an extent of like, great, we're going to have a top 10, female, black cat. Oh, are we? What's going on?
Are we what?
I just saw the note. You're approaching it from the wrong angle. I was just curious.
Well, we're going to get Scandal on because I do want to hear his perspective, because I do appreciate his perspective quite a bit.
All right. Well, then I'm going to call a couple of females so we could level this playing field here. And
see,
let's get some women on
the show.
Naj? Ladies.
Naj, come on.
Blanca, join us, please. Blanca, sending you a link. Naj, wake up.
Yeah, it's only like 2 a.m. over there. Come on.
Where's our ladies at?
Yeah.
All right, Scandal, it is now in your Instagram.
He said just for a second. Yeah, right, Scandal. I'll see to it that that's not what happens.
Yeah, I just want him to look, and honestly, like, I just want him to vocalize his point so I can hear him clearly. But there's Blanca. Blanca, you want to come on?
Come to the show.
Let's read what Charles says here real quick. We need women content creators. Pokemon have hot. I feel baited. We're not enough, Manu. That's all I hear.
I gotta be very careful tonight.
Yeah, be very careful. Blanca says she's been collecting comments since high school. That's beautiful.
Thank you, Blanca. I appreciate that. She says she's working right now, but she will be part of the conversation in the comments. Thank you. It is going to be very important that your opinion be reflected here.
Well, Manu, you said something earlier, which was like, you said they're incentivized to continue to print Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, that was just me saying people love it, buy it, they make it.
Right, but I mean, I think it's the truth, and if that is true, and when you have the future appears to be more than 50%. Hold on one second. Scandal, thank you for doing this. More than 50% female that's driving us economically in a lot of ways. It seems to, appear to me that it wouldn't be surprising that we're going to see more females on this list if they're driving the economics of things. Scandal, thank you, bud.
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh,
I am.
yes.
You look and sound good, but you're at work.
I am. This is my studio. Yeah. I got a
That
lot
doesn't
on.
look nearly as aspiring as your house.
Huh?
Oh, there it is. Never mind. There
So,
it is.
so you can operate creatively under fluorescent lights of that color?
I
and
literally just turned
exist?
this on so you guys can see my beautiful face.
Okay.
You look
okay.
good.
All right, so this is. I'm gonna keep it short.
Okay.
I think you're right about women, and I cannot. Your argument went towards like women in the workplace and stuff. That's not what I'm referring to at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you're talking about that, but whatever. Like you're just about the suit is you're gonna when sorry when you see a stadium getting filled with women watching the WNBA, you're gonna see I'll agree with you. The fact is that there's this type of media is predominantly consumed by men. Predominantly. Like the fact that you can't even, we cheer because we got one woman watching this YouTube channel right now. Like, it's a different situation entirely. Like, and in fact, I think a lot of the descent of what's been happening in the MCU and with Disney Plus is because of an artificial bolstering of women that aren't fans of the comics, women that aren't fans of the stories or the characters, being put into key positions, writing stories and episodes for characters they know nothing of. And these episodes being deemed less, and they're not as appealing because they're trying to morph the entire mythology of Marvel into a new direction that has nothing to do with why the things are popular in the first place. Bam.
But not to just argue for the sake of argument, but to like really hear what I'm about to say as coming from a place of hearing you and what you said. If the future, buyers in this space are female, then it would make sense.
That's a huge
start
if.
creating content.
That's a huge if. There's no data to back that up at all.
I think there's like a lot of data actually to point to.
You look at Sideshow Collectibles, like how many men versus women purchase things. Like I'm talking all across the board. How many people buy Marvel cards? How many people buy collectible content for comics? MCU like watchability. Most women watch Marvel movies because their man takes them to them. That's predominantly true. And then and again, I don't have any axe to grind on. We're not talking about the exception. We're talking about the rule here. Like the exception, there are exceptions to this. Obviously, there's a lot of fans, a lot of female fans.
So Scandale, could you see it changing in the future? That's my question.
Why would it?
Because change is the only constant.
Well, no, I don't think so. I mean, women go into women are motivated. Again, I'm not talking about the exception. I'm talking about the rule. Women are motivated by different things and latch on to different types of fandoms that are separate from what you or I or other males. And again, exception rule, but there's no data to back up that there's a large significant increase in women purchasing power in comic book products.
Well, then I think that, I don't know. I'm really open to it. And I'm coming from
I'm not saying I'm not open to it, but I'm just saying the data doesn't back it up.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. And I mean, the data is the data, right? Like I'm looking at my daughter. Like I've got a 16-year-old who does enjoy Marvel and who has enjoyed it like at every level, whether it's Disney Plus, whether it's the movies. She doesn't read comics. She doesn't have time, to be honest with you. School's so demanding. So her entertainment is going to be in the phone or in a theater, that kind of thing. But I could see if she ever wanted to continue to enjoy things she enjoyed as a kid, as an adult, like Marvel's going to be attached to that in some way.
Well, but what is her favorite thing? You're talking about she enjoys it, but what is her favorite thing? What is
from
her
an entertainment?
What is her Marvel?
Broadway.
There you go. What are we talking about here?
But there's not.
You got a proud papa talking about his daughter liking the thing he likes, which is great, which is totally normal and refreshing and natural. But that doesn't mean that's where she's going to put her money in the future. And we're talking about the market here.
Yeah, but Broadway doesn't live in this same space either. And so
whether it's just Broadway or it's Ulta or it's I don't know what it is, again, not talking about the exception, I'm talking about the rule, wherever women choose to spend their money is not in this space. And I don't see how that can just, if that's just not changing. There's a lot of that is biological. A lot of that is, there's a lot of there's differences between men and women on what they like to do. Like, I actually do like Jane Austen movies. I love Jane Austen movies, and I like romantic comedies. But still, I don't spend a lot of money buying posters to Sleepless in Seattle. But it's one of my favorite
Speak for yourself.
There's part of that room we can't see. We don't know that.
Yeah, that's true. I have a whole other room. And again, I'm talking about just by and large, the rule is that this is a male dominated market, and not insignificantly male dominated.
Yeah, and you're talking about overall dollars spent, right?
Well, I think that's what most popular superhero. I think that's what this graph is about, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think this graph was a little misleading from Mr. Gunn. I actually think it's about, what's popular in the theaters. Like if you look at it a second go around, but that's not what this conversation is morphed into at the moment.
Okay, it was just the only reason I stepped in is because you were saying that you like you see in other markets or fields, you projected your experience in real estate to Marvel.
Well,
I don't.
My experience is I can't divorce myself from my experience, and what I'm saying is like on a day-to-day basis, day in and day out basis, that's what I'm seeing. And so if that spills over into the spending habits or buying habits in entertainment, I could see this list changing. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Give it 20 years and a ton of content that is properly backed by writers, creators that do feel the attachment that might seem somewhat lacking in the success or lack thereof of some of the female properties we have today. I think what everyone's saying is we're open to and excited to see these types of changes happen. Scandal's saying it's hard to see it happening based on current trends and current data. And what I had mentioned earlier, this is just hugely male dominated. I think we're going to see more of that pie. I could see, let's just say there's 1 out of every 10. Let's say it's 10% of the population right now of Marvel collectability, that whole world is women. I could see that going to 25%, maybe a little more, in the collective decade or two at best. I don't see it really exploding to where all of a sudden it's like only 10% or 20% of the population is men in that sense. That's all.
Yeah. Well, Scandal, man, I appreciate you hopping on and responding to my text message. Do you read your text messages?
I looked for it. I couldn't find anything. Let me look. I'm going to keep looking.
You must have gave me a bad number.
I didn't want to waste your time. When I have something to return you with, I'm going to get it to you.
Okay, I got it.
I didn't want to be like, I don't eat,
Okay.
I might as well have it or I don't.
I appreciate that. Just want to know that you heard me.
I'm not a misogynist, by the way. Actually, really,
I didn't hear you.
More at, like, data.
I didn't hear you that way, bud.
Yeah.
I know. I appreciate you taking the time to say that. I hear you saying, hey, look, the thing that's driving the hobby right now is predominantly male dominated. And if you try to force feed it as a female dominated hobby, it lands flat. And that's all you were saying.
Exactly. Thank you for summing it up so eloquently. See you guys.
You're welcome, bud. Take care.
Good to see you.
I appreciate Scandal jumping on. I actually think it took some courage for him to speak into that in the way that he did. Doesn't mean we have to agree. I do think that the future is going to change, and I do think this list will change, and I do think there'll be more females on it. How we get there and why we get there is probably another discussion.
I want to read a few comments really quickly. Brittany said something really great here. It's gotten pushed quite high. I'm trying to find it. Brittany, where's your comment?
I'm with you. Is it this one I first got? Sorry to cover you up there, bro.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I first got into it to sell off the rest of my dad's collection business, but going through everything piled on top of me, I started to become drawn into the art first. Now I walk between selling and collecting. So, something else brought her in, but there was something there that kept her. And I love that. And then, what Blanca says here, She says, "I'm sorry, but I collect comics, cards, and statues because I truly enjoy it. I didn't just recently buy a GSX, a giant size X-Men #1, for no reason. I bought it because I enjoy it, and it's a grail of mine. And I mean, and that's quite an investment. That's a time commitment to hunt it down. But you know, I mean, there's no but. That's amazing. And I'm only a few years into being on a social media and connecting with the collecting community. But I've even in that few years, I have been able to note growth in how many people that I communicate with are women, you know, and every day I'm seeing new accounts of women collectors, female collectors, and I think it's amazing, right? So, but you know, I can't say I assume it's going to be this percentage or that percentage. I wouldn't even attempt to say anything of that sort. What I know for certain is the women, the female representation in the hobby. It's growing, and it's growing like in a beautiful way, and the growth is going to continue because it's just cool stuff that people like, you know, and
and I'll risk a statement here. I don't think that the female population needs the content like redone in a way that only that they'll enjoy. Like, I think it just takes good stories and good characters. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need something.
I agree.
Something like, you know what I mean? So to Skandale's point, to some degree, I don't know if you guys can see this well. I'm trying to show you well. Come on. It's not gonna. Let me turn my brightness down, see if I can get it to show.
Don't turn your brightness down, Justin. You shine. You shine, Justin.
Thanks. All right. Focus. So this just says, come on. There we go. It's almost there. Male, female viewers on the channel. 99% male, 1.1% female.
Yeah.
And I think this channel's pretty safe, regardless of gender. But to Skandale's point, it is predominantly male viewed, which is why we celebrate when we have Brittany and Blanca and whoever else may be.
Yeah, that's why when we were kids and there was like a girl that played video games with us, we were like, oh my gosh, you know, like it's still the same thing. We're still the same kids. It's still the same stuff.
Right.
I didn't have any of those growing up. What?
Only one. I only knew one.
All right. So Ryan says, I have a 5-year-old daughter where one of her favorite things is Spider-Man. I'm telling you, I hear that a lot nowadays. She wore it for Halloween, and most of the women in her life were very excited and participated in her growing interest.
I love it.
Marvelous Facts loves it for a different reason. And
I'm going to read the reason privately here in the chat. Where is it?
Corneliciously, I'm sure the comic book store suggesting low sales with women would prefer larger sales with women. What? I think he's just saying that they would like to grow sales in that area. I think is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He or she.
Makes dollars. Get it.
Yeah. Ryan says exposure will assist in increasing women's interest. Yeah, I think so. It makes sense. I think it probably depends on the exposure, like what that means. But Skandale mentioned a comment. He said, when the WNBA,
Blanca, I'd love to hear that. Oh, sorry. Please, sorry.
When he says when the WNBA fills up a stadium with women, then something. And I immediately was thinking, like, if I go to an NFL game, like, it's 50-50 almost.
I've never gone to an NFL game.
You've never been to an NFL game?
Welcome to Manu.
You didn't strike me as the type.
Right? What about you, Brian?
I'm trying to remember if I have or not. Maybe not NFL, but in college I attended a lot of college games.
Right. But I imagine at one time that was a predominantly male-driven entertainment sport, but it's
had to have been,
morphed over time.
Sure it has.
Let's see here. Marvel and DC are going to make hundreds of new things per year. Everyone can have their slice.
Absolutely.
So one thing we're not talking about right now is like Marvel Snap.
Wait, are we changing the subject right now?
No, we're talking about. I like Marvel Snap, so I want to talk about it. That's why we're doing this. But I'm saying is like I imagine that's got a nice mix of male female players.
Can you tell me what it is? I've only heard about it, but I've not taken any time.
It's an iPhone app.
Are you trying to take my light, Brian?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one that doesn't know anything about what's popular right now, Brian.
Chat, I do want to apologize to you. I know we call this the Marvel Show, where you would expect me to have guests that know things that are going on that's relevant to Marvel, whether it be movies, shows, or entertainment, or the newest video game that won, app of the year, like Marvel Snap. But no, I failed you once again, and I have Manu here who's never seen a Marvel movie, and Brian who doesn't know what Marvel Snap is. Please forgive me.
Hi, Brian.
No, it's a wonderful game. You play it on your phone. You can play matches through computers. You can play them through. They now have it where you can battle your friends. Although I think that's a work in progress. I actually haven't slowed down the last week to do it, but it's hugely popular.
We were just having progressive conversation. How old did Justin just sound when he said you could play it through computers?
Computers. You can play it through your computer or your phone. And I haven't actually played on my computer, but no, it's wonderful. I love it.
I can get it through the App Store.
Yes, you can get it through the App Store. You just go visit. You're rolling my eyes.
It's like digital PMGs, Brian. That's all.
Oh, well, then I'm already too late.
All right, hold on.
You can't be ahead of it all. But you had the first run covered, that's for sure. Blanca, I really want to know, when you said you have a different take on cosplay, on cosplayers, like I'd love to hear your hot take on that. Like,
we need you to not work and come jump on.
Yeah, Blanca, we're gonna have to schedule that. Actually, dude, like, yeah, Blanca, please, one day. That would be amazing.
Charles says, girls go for the experience like football. They won't collect cards. They want to know more than 5. They won't know. That's just not true.
You know what's an interesting thing? Like, this is not a developed thought, but I'm gonna speak something. Maybe, like, things sort of like when you're okay. For instance, guys take this however you want, because I haven't even figured what I'm about to say out. But maybe there's something.
Yeah, we did not prepare for this segment of the show.
Yeah, and these are not the sort of things that I like. Like, this is on. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll try not to say anything silly. But like, guys, well, actually, Blanca, I was going to say, like, guys and their guy friends, they like to work on cars and stuff, but Blanca loves cars, actually. Blanca and I first connected on a conversation about an R34 Skyline. Like, it's an incredible car. She appreciates the silhouette of it the same way that I do. So that's interesting. But, there's this thing that guys do where they work on this stuff, they love this stuff, and they do it to get kudos from other guys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go wax my car, spend all this money on my wheels so some guy could give me a thumbs up, right? Like, it's just this interesting thing. So maybe that's also happening in this space where we're just trying to impress other guys. And maybe women are more advanced or above that, and they get something that us guys just miss. And maybe that's why they're not so involved in the unimportant, nonsensical, perpetuating routines that men like to inflict on themselves.
I think such an interesting thought. Our nostalgia cycle is just different.
Yeah, that's true too, actually, because that's true.
And I'm not going to speak on what I've never experienced, but like what I was going through at 9 through 12 is definitely different than what I watched my daughters go through at 9 through 13. Just the way what they were processing in life during that time versus me as a boy growing up. So I think that's part of it. Who knows? She said, "Oh my God, the Skyline." Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we have some useful information. 25% of avid fans are female.
Oh, wow. And avid NFL fans are female, according to their census. That's good.
24, 25. And I'm talking about just going to the game and like looking in the stands, and I'm seeing plenty of females. Like, what the actual percentage is, I don't know, but it's definitely not all guys. But avid fan, I guess, probably means like wearing the jersey, the whole thing.
All girls make fun of me when I say I'm not into sports. Like, that's just something that I've had to live with.
Yeah, I dated a girl who was big into it, and I watched a full season with her for the 9 months that we dated. I watched the full thing every Sunday, Monday,
Uh-huh.
football, and I dumped her so fast. Like I got Marvel stuff to worry about. I can't do all these games.
Nice, Blanca. Nice.
I hear you, Scandale, bud. I hear you there. What is a WRX?
It's a Subaru.
It's a Subaru. It's a driver's car. Like people that actually see, this is
All-wheel
another thing
drive?
Blanca and I talked about. Like I just like the look of things, and she's actually a driver. You know, like she likes the technical aspect of it too, and a WRX suits that perfectly.
Or if you vape.
Right. So
Or if you what?
Or if you vape. Sorry.
Oh, oh! I
funny.
actually can see that reference playing out in the real world. That's hilarious. Oh gosh.
I'm gonna read this, but before I do, I want to say Scandale says
Brian, that
Paul,
was good, man. I'm sorry.
he means Paul, not Paula. That's funny, Scandale. He says, fellas, women for the most part enjoy MCU films because of the charisma of the likes of RDJ and Evans. You can't change human nature as much as Disney wants you to believe they can.
Is it really?
It's not their looks that they like. He says charisma, but does he mean looks?
Yeah, I think that's a package.
It all plays into it. It all plays into it. It all
So
has
it's not Chris Hemsworth acting skills. That's Thor.
Is that Captain America? Sorry.
Thor.
Oh, Thor. Yeah.
Sir says anybody can enjoy the hobby, male or female. Disney lately has been making content for women to enjoy. I believe that the hobby will grow exponentially with women and men.
I'm with you, sir.
It's going to be interesting. Let's see what
no matter what, we're going to have a good time. It's going to be interesting.
That's right. A lot of guys seem to think that women don't like whatever they see as guy stuff. Many of them will openly say women don't like this or that. Seems very silly. I guess
I know a lot of women that like guy stuff.
So my wife will
quote unquote guy stuff
not watch an MCU film unless it's Wanda. It has to be Scarlet Witch. If Scarlet Witch is involved, she'll watch it. But outside of that, she doesn't care. But she had zero interest in it as a kid. What are you excited about the Mustang Fastback?
Yeah, I think she told me that she's really into that too. Like that's gonna be great when you get that.
That's awesome.
Are we gonna have to have a separate car channel because I'm about to?
Yes. Yep.
Wait, are you into cars, Brian? I
Right.
used to be such a car junkie. Later, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Car does.
Right, exactly.
OBDN says, I agree with storytelling. It has to be a good story. I just think if it's a good story, it'll do what it's supposed to do.
Isn't a good story a truly good story something relatable, right? That's why Spider-Man and maybe not so much Batman, but I think that's why Spider-Man is such an easy one. Along with X-Men, you've got people going through changes, and we're talking about the differences amongst people in society. Like there's a lot of reflection going on. I think that's what might make it difficult for men to see that same thing in a lot of the female content that's created, because it's hard for us to see ourselves. The story might be great, but it might be hard for us to be like, yeah, I can see myself in the shoes of that 22-year-old girl going through the struggles that she's facing. It's like, well, maybe not so much. It's not that it's not a good story, but it's harder for us to relate in that sense.
Yeah. My oldest daughter just has no desire to watch a bunch of fighting.
Yeah, pacifist.
So if it's a big CG,
I have no desire to watch a bunch of fighting. Sorry, I just wanted to say that. Like that I'm not macho. The macho stuff, get out of here. All right. Okay.
I actually think that's some of what's been missing in recent, Marvel movies, where you get, just a all-out Hulk versus Hulkbuster scene that doesn't really move the story along, but it's really fun to watch.
Can you make me big real quick? I just want to show.
You got it, bud.
It's just come into the conversation a little bit, kind of makes sense. So I don't have this is like some modern book. I don't know anything about it. It's a DC book. It's a Batman book. It's a really cool cover. But look how awesome the Batmobile looks.
That is cool.
How sick is that? That's why I bought this cover. I had to have it. Look at Harley leaning against the Batmobile. And it's all like stanced out. It's got the fitment's perfect. It's on airbags. Like this cover, I had to have this cover. Like, why aren't things like this worth $1 million just because
Who's the artist?
Awesome? I have no clue. Let's see. Yeah. Dustin Nguyen. Dustin Nguyen, which I think is pronounced Win. Dustin Nguyen.
It's practically a Maguire's advert. It's great.
It practically is. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's all. Just wanted to throw that up there. Love this cover. Oh gosh.
That is cool.
So Joshua said that his wife said that what draws her to Marvel is the choice in music as well as the humor, aka Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok. Like that. Does not like cheesy, though didn't like Thor Love and Thunder. Oh, did anybody really like that movie? That goes back to storytelling. Didn't have a compelling villain. Could have been.
Constantine, it is Batman The Adventures Continue #2. And if you happen to get one, I would love that. That would make me feel so good to know that you and I both have this book.
From the Bench wants the car talk. And Sydney says, okay, if you want to do card talk, how many Marvel cards have a car in them? I can think of a couple.
Yeah, we actually pointed out a few recently, right? With the cool cars in the background.
We got Giant Man with the Corvette Stingray in the back, like he's like stepping over it.
Right.
In Marvel Masterpieces 1996.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, absolutely. We looked at it on the screen together. I remember it.
That's a good one. Let's see. What's another one?
And I know Andrew, RS Cali, would love the car talk. He's a car guy through and through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of any cards that have cars.
Punisher has the Punisher van in 1990 MU.
Yep.
Oh, there's a Batman. Batman's got the car covers covered. There's another Batman one where I think there's like I forget the car, but it's getting like the wheel stolen, and Batman's like swooping in from up top. It might be a Lamborghini Countach or something like that. Wow. That's a Batman cover from early 90s, late 80s, maybe. Andrew, I know you're going to shed some light on this because you know I'm getting that wrong, I'm sure.
Right. William Hopkins is back in the chat. He says, hey guys, fellow comic fans, it has been a while. Excuse me, haven't been here for a while. This is my daughter's volleyball season. So with that said, comic lovers, be them men, women, boys, or girls, to me is not a problem. Yeah. Charles says, I love UFC. Wrong channel.
Yeah, because I said I don't like macho stuff, and he's like, I like people getting beat up and bloody faced. Charles, man, I don't understand that whatsoever. Like, I have friends that fight, like that's what they do. What is it called? MMC? No,
MMA.
MMA, MMC. And it's like our conversations are so interesting because they're so passionate about it. I'm like, dude, you're punching someone in the face, and then you're getting punched in the face. So what are you doing? But it's what they do, man. You know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. From the Bench says MCU is regular people going through changes and everyday things. DC is gods with ultra powers. Batman hides in the corner.
Who's Thor then?
He's Donald Blake.
Right.
Countach. It was a Countach.
Marvelous Pack says there is a great Disney Plus documentary about the women who helped write, draw Marvel comics throughout history.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. To watch that.
Sydney says, I don't think anyone here is saying women aren't welcome in the hobby. Some are just contending that women will never make up a significant percentage of the market. All right. So that's actually not the conversation I'm having, and I totally understand how it went there. Men like female characters too. Like a lot.
A lot.
So I don't think it would take that many women joining the hobby or joining the space, not hobby, of enjoying Marvel characters for female characters to float into the top 10. That's all I'm saying.
I think women enjoy making fun of us men because we like the women in comic books.
Right. Look, women were just fearfully and wonderfully made. and it makes it easy to be a fan. Men are ugly. Need all the help we can
stink.
get. Men stink. Blanca's laughing at Dustin. I'm not sure who that is. Is there a Dustin here?
Wasn't that the name of the artist, the cover artist? Yeah, Dustin.
Okay.
But no, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Brittany says it's worth $1 million to you. So
thank you, Brittany. It is. It is. I might sell it for a little less someone should offer, but you know.
So I did not watch Smallville, but I do know people who are really big fans of that show. Because wasn't it like a WB?
It was
90. It was, but wasn't it made like, what's that show? The Heels, or what was it called?
Oh, you're talking about the one with the Jurassic Park poster in the guy's bedroom.
I never watched it, but it was
come on,
very popular.
Heroes?
It's gonna no. There's
Heroes.
the guy with the Jurassic Park poster. Yeah.
All right, chat, help us out. What are we talking about?
Dawson's Creek.
Creek.
Callie always comes through. Dawson's Creek.
It was like Dawson's Creek, but for Superman, right?
Right.
And that's why it has such crossover appeal.
Look what Charles said, though. Charles said, Manu doesn't love fighting, but isn't that what Marvel characters do in movies? Love you, my man. And isn't that interesting that I don't watch the movie? Right, Charles? Right? Love you too.
West Coast Dave says 90 She-Hulk and 90MU. Isn't she coming out of a car? Don't remember.
Red carpet, right?
Is she? I don't know. That'd be interesting to know. Yeah.
All right. William Hopkins has another comment. He says, however, like everything else that has been gender driven, i.e. sports, politics, fashion, why stop at comics? My daughter loves the superhero world of Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
Paul says, agree with Sydney. Anything that grows the Marvel brand is great, women or men. Unfortunately, it's not likely to happen for the reasons mentioned already. Let's see.
What a polarizing discussion.
Yeah, I think it's a good discussion to have as long as it stays
Grindstone,
sensible.
what up?
Charles says, let's see. I kind of have to proofread Charles sometimes. That's what a sport is, dominating another man. We can't go back to warrior days. That's why sports like football and basketball is another form as that. By the way, not turning into a sports talk, but I'm just gonna make a statement. I'm tired of I don't watch NBA anymore, but it seems like everything I see nowadays is them guys fighting one another all the time. I'm like,
oh really?
Yeah, why are they fighting all the time? Just play basketball.
Play the basketball.
Ego.
Play
pride,
the basketball.
Wanting to win. Play the basketball.
Do the sports stuff.
So Force Moon, what's up, my friend? Says, evening, gents. Just got here. Hey,
Force
Spidey,
Moon, what's up?
I was just watching your Marvel card grading at ComC and CGC. He did a great copy and paste there because that's literally how it's typed out. That's going to be a massive game changer. It seems awesome. It's a game changer for me. I can tell you, for someone who doesn't like to package and ship and spend a lot of time doing stuff like that, and has a significant portion of my collection that's in ePack and on ComC, to be able to just click, and it's off to CGC. It's done. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think the only thing we'll get into that. The only thing that I'm interested in that whole process is how do you decide which cards are worth grading? It's such a detail-oriented process, and you're supposed to just look at a screen and be like, oh, I'm gonna spend my money grading this one. I think that's kind of dumb, but there might be a workaround.
I'll get in my ComC in a minute. We'll just pull up some photos of cards, and you can decide if you see enough to know whether or not to grade it.
The answer is no, because you can't see surface streaks. You cannot see any of that stuff. Scans suck. Scans are stupid. And that's why I send people 32 pictures of anything that I'm selling, right? So I can feel good about them at least having a decent idea of what they're getting. In person is the only way to assess the condition of anything. And I don't care what anyone shows me on a screen. I stand behind that.
I hear you, but for
graders don't grade on pictures. Why wouldn't the graders do it then if it was a possibility?
But Manu, that this is your world. Like, this is what you do, right?
Are we telling people like, go ahead, it's okay if you get a 6, it's fun, just do it for fun, spend your money with this for fun, now your card's in plastic, congratulations, you made a good choice.
So let's say you have someone who is a very busy professional, and as a very busy professional, they're pastime enjoyment is to click around on ePack, send stuff to ComC, and to sell it. Like they don't even want it to come home.
For middle-aged people with disposable income, not actually for the integrity of the community.
So for people like me, who seriously don't have time, really don't have the focus to do it well, I really just don't. I have, whether right or wrong, have never really sat down and studied a card to say, should this one for condition go to be graded? And what I mean by study, I mean like magnifying glass, centering tool, wiping it down. Like,
yeah,
I don't mean look. I've looked at cards, obviously, but I'm talking about like really study it. The answer is no. Like I just go, hey, I like this card, this card, this card. I would love to see it graded. It looks good in my hand. Send it.
Yeah.
And even that is still time consuming to me. So I absolutely love it. And I know that I'm going to get some 7s and 8s, but I also think there'll be some cards in there that are going to do well enough that it makes me happy, because it's not the same for me as it is for someone who is definitely doing it at the detailed level of, it's not going to 10, I'm not sending it.
This is also going to play into the part of the conversation, if we have it tonight, about the Fanatics thing, because there's this underlying, not underlying, it's top layer. They keep saying it is buying something is a byproduct from of being entertained by something.
Yeah.
Now everyone here knows my opinion. Heck no. Like that is them actually telling you that they're about to manipulate you, and now we're going to start manipulating you. Like
100%.
there's they're literally telling you, if you have a good time here, spend some money. And if you want to look at collecting as purely entertainment, great. But that is a completely different segment of collecting. And I'm a little scared of what Fanatics can do to collecting. I'm a little scared, also excited, but I don't think anyone, dude, they've got power, massive power, big money, huge influence. When you see that founder of that company, he doesn't take pictures with sports cards. He takes pictures with the biggest celebrities in the world. You already know what's on their minds, and it's not the everyday collector getting the best of the best or getting taken care of. It is taking over the world. And when someone's taking over the world and then they're releasing the products for us, like, it's not for our best interest, right? So, but again, I'm super excited to see how far they take it. They're going to take over. Like, it's going to be incredibly impressive from a business and execution standpoint. But just the collector to feel good and be taken care of, none of that's going to be considered here, I think.
No, I'm with you there. I mean, if you're going to be entertained into a purchase, and that's the only reason you're making a decision, you open yourself up without really good fortitude to buy something you really don't want, or thinking it might be valuable and it's never really going to be.
Yes. And that's exactly what they're attempting to do. And they're telling you straight up. They're not, that I could respect that. I could respect that they're telling you straight up, we're going to entertain you until you spend some money. So if you're entertaining, you can break cards on our website. If you have great cards, but you're not entertaining, go somewhere else, sell on eBay.
Manu, question for you.
Yeah.
Have you graded, or will you be grading the Venom buyback, the 2 of 20?
I haven't yet. It's actually right here.
All right.
And,
so I have your
grade
image.
it, though.
Let's grade it right here.
Oh my gosh.
This is the scan. So without a trained eye.
Oh, I can tell you right now, the scratches on the surface don't show up because I didn't know they were there until I got the card in person. I'm going to try to show
right
it
here. What about right here above the emblem on the right, on the left side of the chest, but on the right side of the card? Is that it?
I don't do that. That is, whatever that's there is there. Whatever that is here. It's on this card, whatever that is.
Okay. What about this bottom right-hand corner?
The streaks on his forehead don't show up on the screen.
No streaks on the forehead. Okay.
And I haven't cleaned the card, though. I haven't breathed on it and wiped it yet. So maybe the streaks come off. I don't know.
Right. Interesting information for you to know, or maybe you care or you don't care. CGC
Justin, you're not going to win this one. There's no way to grade a card from a screen. One of the elements, one of the criteria is surface. You have one angle on a surface. That's not how you assess a surface. You have to bounce around. I'm not arguing this with anybody. It is not possible.
One interesting fact about this process, CGC will be wiping down the cards before they grade them. Whatever that means to you, it means to you, but that is something I'm being told.
That's really interesting. That's huge liability they're taking on, like touching it like that. Thank you, Scandell. I appreciate that.
And here's the back. I don't know what you have going on in the back that you can or cannot see here, but I like you giving your synopsis of the car being you have it in hand.
Yeah, there's some scratches there's some lines on his forehead that don't show up in the pictures. I can't even get them to show. I couldn't represent them to you guys on the screen. You have to be here in person looking at it, you know?
Well, mine is at PSA right now. I don't know what serial.
What number do you have?
I'd have to look in my inventory.
All right. Dude, getting cards into card savers is just so difficult.
I got this buyback going.
Ooh.
Keith, I love you. Thank you. Oh, no way you did not.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm
going to put this away later. I don't know.
But here's the thing. Like, and this is why you and I don't agree on this topic. I'm grading this card no matter what.
Yeah, but you and I are way different, bro. Like you just said, you don't even care what you grade. You're like, send it. I'll see if I get lucky. That's just not.
I'm grading this buyback.
That's not good advice,
what.
guys. I love Justin to pieces, and I support him on almost everything. No one listen to what. Do not be influenced by what he's telling you about grading cards right now.
Well, it's just, to me, is the reality is like, this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing it. I'm either doing it at home.
But you know the category you're falling into is the category you're in is entertained by the process. It is not for people that want to succeed in grading cards. Gambling and grading is not how you do it. There's an expense associated with taking the shot, right?
Why are you calling it gambling?
Because I'm not doing it to sell. No, gambling in the fact that, well, if you're happy getting your cards back as PSA 5s and that's your metric for success, then you're not gambling, then you're winning.
By the way, but that's not a lot harder than you make it out to be.
No, listen,
that's not fair.
People do not grade to suck at what they're doing. They grade so they can show you that it's a high grade card. Okay, and I don't care what the companies are getting people to think.
That's not
what
true.
you have just said. What you have just said is literally you're entertained by sending cards off and getting them graded and hoping you get something good will pan out. Most people. Do not operate like that.
I'm entertained by the grade reveal. Is that what you're saying? No, like I have cards that I just want encapsulated. Period.
Yeah, well, you can buy a mag thing. You could put it in between two pieces of plastic yourself. Justin, no. Everybody, no. Brian is with me on this one. I can tell from his face.
You got
no, yeah.
He said no.
By the way, Scandell's with you 100%.
Thank you. Jeez.
So you do have Scandell.
I'm sweating.
There we go.
Yeah, what is in that mug, Manu?
The truth.
Just cranked up the passion.
I mean, dude, I'm not the guy that's like, yay, company
Forrest
gave
hates
us
it
a
when
new
mom
option.
and dad fight.
So we're talking about cards. We're talking about, collecting and preserving and encapsulating, right? Like if I buy something and it's already in plastic and I take it out of that box or whatever, I want to put it in more plastic, whether it's a card, a comic, an action figure. I'm like, I'm going to encase this thing and get a grade on it. If it's my PC, to a degree, I don't care. To Justin's point, I don't care. But am I aiming for 5s? Absolutely not. Am I going to be bummed if I get less than some relative expectation set I have? Yes. I just cracked. I don't know if you guys remember the video I put out a few weeks ago. I crossed over a bunch of cards to CGC and I cracked out a BGS 10 Spidey vs. Venom hologram. It came back as 7.5.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
I'm disputing it. That's a whole other subset of issues, but
maybe they wiped it down when it was at the facility and gave it a couple scratches.
Yeah, they wiped it down with a cheese grater.
That's going to be a mess, that whole thing.
Since we're talking about cards,
here's oh no, you go ahead and show your card and I'm gonna make a statement. Oh wow, what do we have here? Exquisite Ash Gonzalez. I see that. Oh, look at that. Why does that look so good graded?
How beautiful.
Wow.
It's
Spider-Woman looking fantastic.
Yeah, this was a had to have. So anyway, on the topic of,
so you knew that was going to get a 9.5 when you sent it?
It was
just gambling.
It was a BGS 9. And so I got it back at a 9.5. But again, the other ones dropped. Well, just the hologram dropped. But
So, here's my thought process. I open up cards on Upper Deck CPAC. I see them. I see what I can see, right? And I don't see what I don't see, right? But it's a high value card. It's low numbered. It's special to me. Like whatever it is, I'm just going to grade it. Like I'm not going to send it home, open it up, look at it, then decide it's gradable, then send it to be great, then send it back, to be graded. Like I'm just going to keep it in that ecosystem and just say grade it. Like that makes sense to me from a time value of money for me, for the risk of someone like me handling the card who doesn't like, I don't hold myself out to be like a grader. I just don't even intend to hold myself out that way. I'd much rather just send it. And if it grades really well, great. If not, it's still the card. Like it's still the card that I like and I enjoy.
Yeah,
and
that you just spent an
cool.
extra $20 on to put in plastic that you could have did yourself.
And that's just where I'm at in life right now. For me personally, I realize
that's
I'm not
what PSA is counting on. PSA is hoping that
this
there's
is
a bunch
PSA,
of people at that
CGC.
Any grading company is hoping that there's a bunch of people that just want their card in plastic so they can get $25 sent to them 1,000 times a day.
And that's why they exist.
Well, that's not why they originally existed, but that's how the marketing has taken shape since.
But Manu, do you think they exist to give out nothing but 10s? Like that's not true.
No. But the reason they existed, well, fair enough. That is fair, because not all comic books have to be high grade. In order to be valuable, they have to be historically significant, and you have to put a grade on them so you can assess the value, right? But there are people in the world of cards right now that are submitting cards that once they get the unsuccessful grade, whatever that might be, their card is worth less than the cost of grading it, right? That the grading companies are hoping for. That a lot of people do senseless grading.
So let's say I have 100 cards that let's say I'm a grader. I mean, I'm looking at my cards for the purpose of grading to get high grades. I have 100 of them. I still see the advantage of taking those 100, printing one label, send it to ComC, and having them send it to CGC, and having it come right back into my CGC account where I can send it to eBay at a high grade. Like to me, that's still a huge advantage from a time standpoint. At the very least, there's also some economics in there when you start breaking down the math of how to do that. So I see the advantage all the way around, whether it's coming out of my EPAC, whether it's me sending cards up there, or whether I just want to put it in a slab because I like the card and I want it to be slabbed.
I've lost sending in at bulk. I've done that 2 or 3 times with PSA and I've lost it. That's the gamble that I did realize there is a strategy to it. And sending smaller batches, at least I've found has helped curb a lot of that.
By the way, I need to give a disclaimer here just for everybody. Personally, have been involved in working with ComC and CGC to put them doing this together. So
yeah,
like I have a lot of passion and respect for the fact that I now can open up a Marvel card, ship a Marvel card, have CGC grade a Marvel card, which is still really special to me, and have it come right back into my account.
Just giving too much. I know I love that. And I love that you love that. And I love that you love them and you're working with them. I'm afraid that we're giving too much power to the companies. We're making them way too an integral part of our collecting community, and it's going to bite us in the butt, period. They don't care about us.
They don't care about what?
Because they're companies. Us. Like they're companies. They're businesses, right? And they're going to do everything. Like, it's just a little, it's like, absolute power, right? And I support Justin. I support anything you do. It's like I just have my opinion on. I don't think everyone should do what you do. I think it's very unique that you can do it, and I don't think it's a message that should be shared with everyone, because I actually think it's detrimental to the health and happiness of most people to take that approach.
Well, this is why you're here.
Thank you. I love you all too. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you. Love you.
Yeah, you got an amen for Marvel Cards Up. Brian's hanging out in the background.
My guy, what's up? Hey, he did the trade with Cards and Comic Freak. I love that, man. Awesome.
He did.
Thank you. And both of the cards are beautiful. The one he received and the one that Cards and Comic Freak got. That was dope.
let's go back up and grab a couple of more of these comments because we're getting some good stuff here.
And yes,
yeah, you didn't want to show everyone agreeing with me. I love you all. I want you to know I saw most of the comments. Thank you.
Yeah, that's totally it. West Coast says the 9.9 newsstand. I cracked another CGC slab by hand today. It was like a maniac.
There's this method. There's this method going by, right? You take the slab.
Oh, I've seen it.
Okay, and you bang it against the edge of a table around this area here, and it cracks open. Also, what it does when the top flies open is the book wobbles like this, 70 degrees, and you're going to get 30 more spine ticks. So my advice, if you want to have fun, go ahead and do it, but don't do it.
Don't do it.
No.
Search says it depends on if you're grading it for your collection to preserve it, or if you're looking to grade a 10. But even if we get a low grade, let's say an 8 or a 9, and it's only an 8 or a 9, like I'm actually happy with a lot of 8 or 9s. But when I first started grading, I thought everything had to be a 10 because that's what people were telling me. And I actually don't hold that opinion as strongly anymore.
No, it's nuanced. If you're grading a card that has a lot of 9s, 8s, and stuff like that, it's nuanced, man. Some cards have to be a 10 to have value, but if your goal isn't value, then it doesn't matter what grade it has. But
yeah, if I'm only trying to like multiply the card's value by the grade, then yes, it really needs to have a gem mint grade.
Or just be
Search said, why do I have my comic book graded then? Again, it's all nuanced. Certain books I have, well, that's like I need more detail on the question. For value, I do not grade my books to preserve them or keep them safe. I don't grade my books because I think the additional space that the slab takes up is beneficial to my life. I don't grade my books because I enjoy spending extra money to have something that I already have. I grade them so that I can prove to the world that I sought out and successfully found the highest grade example of something rare, so I can turn it into a proposition of value and then sell it to someone that might not otherwise recognize its value. That's one of the reasons. I don't grade things because it's fun to grade things. It's frustrating. It's annoying. The companies mess up all of the time. They waste your time. So that's a little bit of my answer, Search, but I appreciate the question. And if you want to break it down into layers, I'm happy to, answer it in layers as well. But it's not a simple question. It's not a simple answer. That's, one of the tastes of my answer.
From the Bench says for Hockey Young Guns, which is on Upper Deck Z-Pack, for those who don't know, from last year, there are surface flaws on a ton of them that run down the left side about 1/8 of an inch. From the edge, you can't tell from the scans. For what it's worth, some of my understanding is because of the closeness that ComC works with Upper Deck, who produces these cards, if there's something that shows up routinely from a production error standpoint, CGC will likely not ding that for the grades. Now, don't take that as a universal truth. That's just something that I've heard.
Wait, I'm sorry. What were you saying? You were talking about comic books versus cards and manufacturing defects?
No, I was talking about because ComC works closely with Upper Deck. If there's something that's routinely showing up in a set of cards as a production error, that they will communicate that to CGC so they can take account for it in their grading process.
Why doesn't Upper Deck and ComC get so closely in bed that they just start releasing packs of already graded cards then? Right? If they think it's such a great idea for everything to be graded, then just grade it and sell it in packs of 10 graded cards then. Put a grade on it from the factory then. No one's ever going to touch it. It's not going to get delivered to anyone's house as it is with the new system. So erase the system. Sell us slabs then.
It's a different vertical.
Yeah. That's your new business model?
No, that's the direction that we're justifying it headed in.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen.
I think what could happen is we have too many cards graded and we have a full-blown junk slab error. I think that's a huge possibility. I think that for me, like when I was at a show this weekend, I absolutely loved having my cards graded because it gave me I felt fine taking these cards that I think are really, important and letting people hold them.
Yeah, I'm interjecting. I'm sorry. I am cutting you off and I apologize. But there's another thing happening in my mind. this is actually hilarious. So the proposition is Upper Deck releases a product, you never see it, it goes to grading, and it gets an imperfect grade, right? Hold on a second. We're supposed to be hunting high grade. We're supposed to be responsible for finding the high grade. It's supposed to be our edge, our advantage, our, you know, what makes us better as a successful hunter or whatever, right? To find the high grade or be able to care for something over time. So why are we that now we're literally just gambling. Let's see if Upper Deck cut this card right for me. We're literally showcasing the fact that the companies suck at quality control, and then we bear the burden of a crappy grade when they send it invisibly to a company and we never see it.
Talked about this too, because what could happen here or will happen, whichever's right, I don't know, is if grading happens at that level and the card has never been touched by the collector, okay, it's going to even further reveal the quality control issues, and that will do a couple of things. Number one, people will not be grading. This relationship won't work because people are not going to grade cards that, you know, won't grade at whatever they want to. Or Upper Deck has to adjust and make better quality. Period.
I don't think we need to automate the grading process to challenge their crappy manufacturing tactics.
Oh yeah,
we've seen that so much already that
yeah,
I haven't bought any of their product in 2 years because of it. That's how bad it is. Like,
I want to read it. He says, right on. Our car companies work on better quality control. That ain't happening either. They'd rather detail CGC their flaws to our detriment.
It's like what you said earlier. They're going to let them know that we manufacture this card like crap, so grade it on a curve, or what is it called? Graded on a.
Well, it's not so much grade on a curve. It's just recognize a production.
It's exactly flaw. Grading it on a curve. It's exactly that.
And the point for me is, like, you know, I already own the card. Like, you know, if I have let me give you an example. There's a Moon Knight. Brian, speak to this too if you know it. There in the Moon Knight in 2017, the blues specifically. Yeah, they had a production flaw to them. Like it was almost, I don't know if it's every single card, but it was a bulk of them. And PSA, for what it's worth, recognized it and did not ding the surface for that card.
You're talking about how the name wasn't filled in all the way?
The name, and they would do some whiting on it.
Right. Yeah, the purple suffered the same flaw. All 5 of those, I believe, had that.
I'm just saying that's not unusual. That's not unusual in the trading card hobby.
I could see a printing flaw where it's leaving something off being taken into consideration. But if I've grinded out a few thousand cards and now, you know, 10% of my surface has texture on it because it got hit with a roller or it got cut wrong, I think that's not something that should be weighted against a curve. We're like, hey, this was normal. You know, 25% of the population got screwed out of this, so we're going to call this normal. It's like,
right.
That's pretty rough.
All right. So Steve Dog says, not trying to move to sports, but Panini in cases already does this with their product. Box breakdown: 1 BGS graded auto per box, 1 auto, 2 MEM cards. Not sure what that means, and 1 base
cards.
That makes sense. Memorabilia.
That's interesting. But that's, you know, that's interesting. There's already a lot of stuff in the sports world that I think has gotten a little out of hand with cards. It's all going to bite us in the butt, man.
Now, but isn't that what you want?
To be bitten in the butt now, not necessarily.
No. Let me explain. For people to miss what actually is going to be collectible long term.
I get it, but like, what an evil way of thinking, right? It's like I want everything to suffer and suck so that I could win later because I knew what was going on.
It's not evil. It's a cycle that happens. It's a cycle that continues to happen.
I know it is. You're right. I mean, at the end of the day, I get it.
I think all we can do from our side of things is know that, hey, if you're out there, if everyone's doing it, there's a really good chance that that's not going to be what's collected in the future or what's deemed desirable or valuable. So we keep preaching that message. It's not a new message, right? we've been actively preaching the message that if every single thing's graded, then grading may not mean as much as you would like for it to mean long term. We've preached that message. And it really comes back to the card and whether or not you love it and appreciate it. Like that's really important. And it's not to say that grades don't matter, but you got to be careful. Just buying something because it's a PSA 10 doesn't mean it's going to hold value long term if there's a bunch of them.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. A point that was said earlier, Manu, about putting too much power and trusting that process. Totally agree. I think there's one caveat in the future where that might change, and it's less so about control and more about precision. So we talk about scans. Mm-hmm. They don't do justice. We know that. We look at anything and everything online, and it's not as good as in hand. Mm-hmm. One thing that is true today and will only be more true in the future is that computers and technology will get better at doing what we do naturally. Mm-hmm. And that technology already exists in different industries. So think about how they manufacture the precision of an iPhone or most other electronics, the scanners involved to get to within these tolerances. You could have a scanner, which I'm sure already exists in some industry, that could scan a card 360 and kick you out a grade based on an algorithm of its assessment of the surface, the flaws, the nicks, the corners, this and that, right? You dial in what these different grades mean based on its eval. You could just scan these cards in 1,000 a minute and kick out all these grades faster than any building full of grading professionals could ever kick out. That would be the time where I'd be like, you know what? I believe in this tech. Go for it. And it could even say, like our graders do today, if you're grading less than a 6, we'll send it back to you. Don't worry about it. You charge us whatever the fee is. This machine could do that work and be like, guess what? 50% of what you sent me is garbage. We're going to send it back to you. So maybe there is a future where that works. I don't know.
I find this I think we're just, I don't know. I just find it so funny because if it's a 90s card that had not the best centering or quality, but you get a PSA 10, we act like it's the freaking holy grail because it's got a low gem rate. And like, hey, mm-hmm. I'm the one who got one. Mm-hmm. Then you fast
forward. Good night, Blanca. Thank you for being here. Sorry.
Yeah, appreciate you, Blanca. You fast forward into the future, we're like, man, this is terrible QC. The quality sucks. I'm having a hard time getting a gem rate. I'm like, isn't that what you're going to want in the future? It's like a future newsstand, right?
Yeah.
There's not just gems laying around everywhere. And I'm not advocating for low quality. That's mm-hmm. not what I'm doing. I'm just saying that's what we tend to gravitate towards as collectors later on down the road.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Everything's graded these days, though, and mm-hmm. companies know that. So there should be a stronger emphasis on quality. But you're right. If everything's high grade, then what's the scarcity? And in the 90s, I don't know that anything was graded. I'm not sure, but in the early 90s when I was collecting cards, I had never seen a graded card.
No, we put them in those big glass bricks and pressed them down with screws. That's what we did.
Exactly. So no one really knew where the thing was going. And now we all know where the thing has gotten. So quality matters a lot more than it did when no one knew. We were just trading and collecting cards then. Now we're grading and investing in cards. It's a little different.
Yeah. I do want to comment here. RMS Collect says, so ComC will have to scan all cards correctly and no longer provide stock images. Okay, so I believe I have some clarity here. ComC is the only person that scans cards. There are some cards that a stock image is used. You cannot grade a card that uses a stock image through ComC to CGC, period.
Nice.
Only way you can grade that card is have it converted to Elite, which includes a high resolution scan.
Converted to Elite. Oh, that's a tier of.
Yeah, you move the card into Elite, which gives you all the options that you have with ComC. And one of those things is someone then takes the time to scan that actual card that you have a stock image of, and then you can grade it. But until you have an actual scan of the actual card, they will not let you grade it. Because when it comes back from CGC, you're going to get both images. You're going to have the image of the card before grading, and then you're going to have a high resolution Elite scan of the CGC card graded. So you compare the two before and after images.
RMS says, do you have to pay for Elite? I'd imagine so. If there's layers to services, you're going to have to pay for the higher.
The answer is yes, as far as I have done it in the past. I haven't done it lately. I've never taken a stock image and turned it over to Elite, but I imagine you have to. From the bench says, I rip way too much hockey, so I've just accepted it. Yeah, we just answered this, but it's actually ComC that scans cards, not Upper Deck. But this is assuming people want a CGC slab. Some might want a different slab. Yeah, that's totally true. So if you have a
I feel like
in,
this process will be replicated by partnerships for all the grading companies.
Like you're talking about just through ComC?
No, just in general, there'll be another sort of ComC with a relationship with another grading company. They're all going
like eBay?
Yeah, sure. Like
eBay doing that. Charles says yes on the Moon Knight surface issue that we talked about. From the bench says some vintage cards, the edges, they actually like them more feathery because that's more of how they're supposed to be.
Feathery is the word I was looking for yesterday when I was talking about the corners of the spine of a late 80s Amazing Spider-Man book. Feathery. Yeah.
Soft.
Yes, soft. I called it a cotton swab because I didn't have the word feathery at the time.
That's not the same thing. Sir says, you just figured it out. We spend more money to hunt the perfect cards to get the perfect grade. If you're into that, that's where the market is going instead of collecting as a hobby and grading them.
I'll go out and buy a graded thing where it's a book or a card because I don't want to hunt it down, right? There's a valuation of time where it kind of crosses and you're like, well, either I'm going to spend X amount of time, dollars and gamble, or I'm going to go out and buy it. You just have different ways of getting there.
What's the lowest grade item that you own, Manu?
It's actually right. No, but I bought it because I was experimenting with scratch removal on the slab. It's the 7.5 comic book that's on the floor back here.
All right, maybe let me ask it a different way.
It was $15. It was the cheapest slab I can buy on eBay.
Cheapest slab you can buy. Let me ask it a better way. What is the lowest graded item that you're done with the grading process that you own?
Since I don't have too much really old special stuff from the silver and golden age, everything is sort of in that age range where you're shooting for 9/8 and stuff. I think the lowest graded item that I have, that I'm done with the process, is probably a 9/6. Yeah, most likely. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Laser Brian says a rare card is a rare card regardless of the grade. Being encapsulated with a grade helps both parties, buyer and seller, agree on what's being bought / sold. So he's saying it creates transparency.
Yeah, you know what you're getting. Yeah.
You know what you're getting.
In a sense, right? But then everybody tears apart the grading practices of individual companies and you start getting to that.
Yeah. It's funny if you watch the video where I did the tour of the sports store it's actually in it's in Atlanta. Let me just say it that way. I'm showing him my PSA 10 buyback number 10. And he's like, that's got to be a pop 1. It's like, no, it's actually a pop 2. But I really don't care if all of them were 10s because there would still only be 10 PSA 10s. Like, it's still fine to me. You know, like.
They're rare because they're rare.
Well, I mean, the image is not rare. But
no, that actual card, though, the out of 10 buyback, what it is, there's only 10.
Right. For people who, like me, want to put that trinity together of the silver, of the base, of the buyback, only 10 of us can do that. And like, yes, I'm glad I have a 10. Very much appreciate it. But I'm still happy to have it regardless of the grade.
Since you're talking about that show really quickly, I want to say I watched an episode of another YouTuber. I forget his name, the guy that you connected with once before. What's his name?
Oh, Kevin
Yes. But I was watching his Culture Collision, and you popped up in it, and you were kind of giving him a little bit of a hard time. You're like, what was that one picture you posted?
Yeah,
you know, the one picture.
He did the whatever post. Yeah.
It was a nice little moment. I saw you in there. I had to rewind it. I was like, it's Justin.
There he is.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Marvelous Pack says the tech is there, but the slabs would be too costly because those scanners go for $250,000.
I mean, these companies can afford the investment.
Yeah, they made that off the three of us alone, right?
I remember one conversation.
Yeah. RMS Collect says, no matter how we like it, the hobby will be evolving. Let's just hope the quality control for companies making the cards will evolve and improve. Vintage Lore says, if I get a PSA 1 on a 1966 Donruss, I'm still a happy camper.
It's 1966 Donruss, man. It's 1966 Donruss. You know, everything is nuanced.
So I actually want to take the 1990 MU Spider-Man hologram and have a PSA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, is it? They have a 6.5. I want to get all the halves.
It's a 6.5.
Yeah,
all the way to 9. So 8, 8.5, 9.
For which card? That's awesome. For which card?
The hologram, because I'm not going to be able to afford the 10. I just want a rainbow to gray.
Yeah, that's amazing. Actually, I have an ASM 300 newsstand that I'm just sending, obviously unpressed to CGC because I want a 0.5 on it. I finally found my 0.5 copy, and I want it so bad because honestly, like when I get it, I'm going to be so proud to post it. I hope it's not a 1 or a 1.5. I'll be so devastated. I want a 0.5 because when I post it, I want to say this is what people intended for newsstands originally.
Also, the rarest graded book for the 300, right?
It's like my
my
Indian copy of AF-15 that's a 1.0.
That's cool,
it's
man. That's really, it feels right.
It does, though.
So right.
That's the cool thing about the international books, but that's a whole separate topic.
And thank you for my international books, my friend. The 2 that I have are from you. Oh, well, since then, I've added a few international items, but you were my first 2 international items. Yes.
I'm just glad I was the first.
I'm glad that's how it worked out as well.
Charles says he thought Max Protection was a penny sleeve in the 90s.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Benjamin says, in this day and age, we should focus on protecting what we like. So when AI comes on board, cards graded by humans will be discredited and discounted.
Oh, you just cross them over.
Yeah. Dude, it went to a 7.5 from a BGS 10? Your hologram?
Yeah. It's so clean. Someone must have had a real bad day.
Wow.
What do you mean?
Keep us in the loop with that.
So it was a BGGS, which is like their lower.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I didn't feel so bad about cracking that out. I think I got it on eBay for about $50 a few years ago. I still have my BGS 9.5. I didn't crack that, but I figured I'd give this one a shot.
That kind of speaks to what people say about the BGGGS slabs. You know, it's kind of like getting your PGX comic book.
Oh gosh, I don't know if it's that bad. I don't know if it's that bad.
It's like HGA. I crossed over some of those too. I was like, I'm getting rid of you guys.
Yeah. All right, so West Coast Dave has a request. He says, can you guys pronounce ComC like if it was comic, but without the I instead of ComC? So comic.
Wait, what? Can you guys pronounce it? Well, the thing about ComC, it stands for check out my cards, and it can also stand for check out my comics.
Check out my collection is really.
So you guys are going for world dominance. See, guys, they're trying to. I knew I was right the whole time. Everyone, I'm on your side, guys. I'll protect you. We're gonna let these guys make $1 bajillion, but I got you.
They already sell comics. I accidentally already bought one.
Yeah, they do have comics on ComC.
I don't think
check out my collection, man. They know what they're doing, those guys.
All right, this is interesting. I'm gonna trust Keith's math here. He says 87% inflation
from the bench. Thank you.
On cost since 1990. If X-Men metal was $25 a pack in 1990, it was $325. Anyone remember what retail was for 90MU? I don't remember retail for 90MU, but I remember paying. I think it was $4.99 a pack for the 95 Flair box of cards.
Yeah, I can remember that. Yep.
Doesn't that sound right?
I think that sounds really right.
Most everything.
A $7 pack back then would have been mind-blowingly expensive. $3 to $5, and $5 was the premium.
$5 was a lot to me
Yeah.
I think the few opportunities I had to buy 96 masterpieces was more than $5 a pack.
Yeah, those were $6.99 or $7.99.
And that's why we didn't get them.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was
collecting always. Oh, sorry. Charles says collecting always starts first, but there are levels to the game right after that. I want the highest grade possible on the rare card just to flex.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We've been working out.
He's Spider-Man.
That's true. Brittany says, I just got into my dad's eBay the other night. 90s boxes were going for $20 to $50 a couple of years ago. She's not wrong.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Brittany.
Now $300 to $400.
I did there's a kind of like a, what do you call it? A flea market next to my place growing up. And some guy had a sealed box of 94 Flair. I walked away with $20 and I managed to buy that whole sealed box. I was the happiest. What would I have been? I would have been 11 years old. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was he must have stolen it. I was like, there's no way he was going to sell me this box for $20.
Because they were like $60 as a kid, right?
Yeah, they had to have
$80,
been.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could I
yeah, what you want to do?
No, nothing. We'll get to it. There's a comment I want to put on the screen.
Yeah, I'm working there. So we've got RMS Collects. I am stealing the stamp from Upper Deck and creating buybacks on all my 90s Marvel cards.
I'll buy one from you.
Yeah.
I will buy one from you. The RMS collection, the RMS pedigree, yes. I'm in. Yeah. If I see 2 9 out of 10 somewhere, though, I'm going to be really mad at you. Let's keep the stand. Let's keep it legit, though. But I will buy them from you.
Alberto, if you have a card in your ComC account, I believe you can send it to be graded as long as CGC grades those types of cards. This is how Andrew was saying that.
Okay.
Okay.
What did I just say?
Just being silly and dumb. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Oh, Manu is the man of the people. There we go.
From the bench. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you. You're the best.
Bang, pow, zap, kump.
Hey, I love that.
That's funny stuff. Let's see. We got Aslan, my friend here. All I know is that the Purple FX 2022 is 10 times more expensive than a 1990 hologram PSA 10.
Yeah.
Oh, purple's a 1 of 1, right?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Right.
Yeah, okay. It is. It is. Yeah. Currently.
That adds up.
We'll see what it is 40 years from now, Aslan.
All right. HA says, I'm debating with myself about grading an entire set, knowing some would return back PSA 5s. It's a daily mental battle.
Ooh, what's that?
I mean, it's cool to have an entire graded set, though. It's kind of like a dope accomplishment in its own.
Yeah. What's that?
That's the rabbit hole I face. I feel like if I start grading a set, or like a card here and there in a set, and you're like, oh, it doesn't fit in the case the same. They all got to match. And next thing you know, like 150 cards sub out. Dang
it. I want to tell you something, Brian. I don't remember the details, but it was like a thing that I was going to like playfully make fun of you about, and I forgot to do it. It was a long time ago because you're so organized and stuff like that. And there was a series of boxes that you had labeled, and then you were putting them into like a cabinet or a container somewhere.
I remember
and the way that you had labeled them, the labels didn't show up anymore the way that you had to arrange them. And I was like, Brian's probably so pissed off right now.
I'm there with my label maker.
Yeah. Did you redo it all so that everything was forward facing, or you just said the heck with it? It is what it is.
It's the lockbox, so I'm not looking at it every day.
That's what it was.
There you go. Yeah. Old Timer Gamer says, wish I would have looked into this a few years back. Just kind of stumbled on Spidey Hits last year and got the card bug.
Nice.
You're not alone. Heard that story a few times.
Ooh. And if you did look into it a few years back, you wouldn't have found as robust or as involved or engaging a community. So it might not have impacted you the same way it is doing today. Everything happens the way that it should. My friend, welcome. Thank you for being here.
DO6 says my Dark Hawk #1 from CGC is missing the newsstand label. Now I have to send it back to CGC.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, they
doing that, right?
Yeah, they just started doing that, but they're not good at it because they don't pay any attention, and which is what they're supposed to do. But in terms of the newsstand, here's what you have to do, and it's silly. When you're creating the order for the book, hopefully it has a newsstand box for you to check. You have to do that. Above and beyond that, on your actual packing slip, make sure you write newsstand because you got to spell it out for everyone involved in the process over there. And then on the book itself, hit it with a sticky note saying this is a newsstand, and point to the barcode if you think that's going to be sufficient as well. Then you have a chance of the book being notated correctly.
Yeah, got a couple of good questions here. Brittany says, "Can I ask Brian, what were you saying about sending small batches to grading? You said it about 20 minutes ago."
I mean, I have a somewhat limited exposure to this, but based on the number of submissions I've done to PSA, I've probably subbed almost 500 cards in the last year. 2 of those batches were at 50 card subs each. The others were all broken up between 10 to 20 cards. And consistently, without fail, every time I'd send in the smaller batches, I'd at least get a 10 or more 9s and 8s than anything else. If I sent a larger batch, I would get some 7s, and it'd be skewed more towards the lower end of that spectrum. And mind you, anybody in present company probably knows this was all PMGs, so they're pretty low grade anyway. They're not known for gem minting all these PMGs from 2017. So I knew it was a risk that I'd run, but that's how it worked out for me in the end. And most of them came directly from ComC. Most of them were all EPAC transferred, hadn't been physically pulled. So not a lot of hands touched them. So I think I lucked out in a lot of ways, but definitely breaking those subs out.
Good insight. I like that.
Totally agree.
I would take that advice from you for sure.
Yeah, I had a similar experience, but it was with BGS. It's not great. I sent 52 cards to PSA. No, I've had a similar experience with PSA and got 3 10s out of 52 cards. And then when I sent some 94 Marvel Masterpieces, which I thought were super clean, I got 9 to death by this one guy or girl, whoever it was, who knows, but
human.
Oh my goodness gracious. So many 9s on beautiful cards. But West Coast says CGC isn't good at many things. Yeah, we keep using them. Aslan Ang says, I wonder if people will move back to vintage cards as more one-of-ones are released. Opal Blacks, Purple FX, Gold FX, Zebra FX, Graffiti FX.
Aslan, I think that's really interesting you would say so, and I actually do believe so. Yes. I think as people become, yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, it seems obvious.
Yeah, there's going to be too much saturation of things that people can try to convince you are cool or worth it. And you're going to go back to what your gut tells you is rightfully amazing.
So, Manu, define vintage.
Old.
Wait a minute.
Old. All right. Where most of them are a little yellowed, most of them look a little dusty, and then you find the cream of the crop, that's vintage. I don't care what decade it's from. If most of them are dusty and yellow, that's the game we're playing and looking for the high grades. Nothing new is dusty and yellow.
So early 90s comics count?
Yes, early 90s. I know it's cringe to say it's vintage, but some of the stuff can be considered vintage. In cards, I think vintage is older. Like I would consider Donruss 1966 vintage, 75, 76 stickers vintage. I would not consider 90 MU vintage. I know that's interesting because a t-shirt that Marvel released through an order form in a comic book is considered a vintage garment. But I don't look at 90 MU in that way. But that's a scale that changes. In 20 years, that is vintage. So it's pointless to define it because it's going to change anyway.
So question, 25 years from now,
yes,
will these one-of-ones, Opal Blacks, Purple FX, Gold FX be considered vintage rare cards?
Yeah.
That's what I said earlier. Like wait 40 years, right? Yeah.
Is it
Then they'll
40?
be old.
It's just like
Oh no, I mean
cars.
arbitrary numbers, but then they'll be old.
It's fascinating.
But do you want to pay the prices you're paying for them now, where the 40 years are already baked into the nonsense values, and then hold them and hope they're worth more? No, that's not smart.
No, I just find it fascinating.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I love it.
There are things that have value baked in because the value has taken time to get there. And then there's things with speculative value baked in. You're gambling, hoping it holds or goes higher. It's very different. There's one is much safer than the other. Nothing is guaranteed, but one is much safer than the other.
I just find it fascinating because if we knew, then we would do it. Like we knew in the 90s, we would have done it.
Yeah.
Like, just the newsstand is a great example. Like,
right.
Very
but then it
few
wouldn't,
blip on the radar, on the, a blip on the radar screen. People thought, hey, actually, if everybody's sending a direct issue home and not touching it, probably want to keep some of these newsstands mint.
I love that we say that. I went antiquing this weekend, and in one of the antique shops, I had a really great conversation with the person that was running like a large port. You know how the antique shop, every little setup belongs to someone else, right? Yeah. But this person had the upstairs, a great portion of it. And he was very helpful. And so, both of them were very helpful, but we had this great conversation and we really connected when they found out, like, what am I looking for? What do I do? And I said, I told them exactly what I'm looking for. And sometimes I come across it, so on and so forth. And we started talking about how that cycle just happened where COVID magnified certain things, but it was still within the 30-year cycle of like the stuff we loved from the 90s. So it was like these things that were just stacked on top of each other, making things that I've loved for 30 years become exponentially more valuable now. And then we just had a great time saying, like with newsstands as example, if everyone kept them, they wouldn't mean anything. The reason they matter is because everyone neglected them. And it was just a fun conversation at an antique shop, which is pretty fitting.
No, I love it. Obidin says, Manu, how did you like that Marvel Beginnings breakthrough comic cover card in a CGC slab? Would you have rather had it in a PSA slab?
It looks really good in that slab. That card, you know how that ring around the ASM 300 picture is blue and the highlights on Spidey are blue and the label on the CGC is blue? It looks beautiful. What I will say, and this happens to me with I've only had 2 CGC slabs in my presence. They're top heavy. And I don't want to give free advice, but free advice. Cut a quarter of that top off. Why is the label this big and the card is like, they're top heavy, man. You don't need that much blue at the top. That's all. That was my criticism. It does look really good though. Feels great. What do you guys call it? The clarity, the optics, the plastic.
It's just clear.
Super sharp. Just a beautiful quality product. I would have also appreciated it. I don't have that card in a PSA slab, but there's a lot of red in that card that would work well with the red of the PSA slab, and I would probably appreciate it equally there. I think the proportion of a PSA slab makes more sense than the proportion of a CGC slab, but you'll never hear me say that a CGC slab is unattractive, but I will have my criticisms about what could be improved.
Yeah. Awesome. Old Timer Gamer is making me a nice gift. It's a Spidey Hits bottle opener and air freshener.
Whoa.
For my car.
Whoa.
Not the bottle opener part, the air freshener part.
Yeah, right. I don't know what the laws are down there, buddy, but
yeah. For sure. Yeah. You don't want to see me drink, that's for sure. Just be careful. Sending multiple copies of the same card can backfire. Yeah, I mean it.
We've talked about that with comics too.
Well, like in the appraisal world, and I know this doesn't actually correlate, but you really don't want the same appraiser appraising a property multiple times in a short window because they already have a built-in bias that there's a natural benchmarking that takes place. It's just human nature. And so if an appraiser's been involved in a property in the last 36 months, they have to tell the client. And the client then has to decide, well, are they still the best choice? And often you want to get a different appraiser because they already have that. And the reason why you don't want them to be involved is the concept of change is always taking place, especially in markets. And you don't want to have that benchmark in there. So when someone's looking at a card, they see this one, and then they look at this one, like they can't help but benchmark. And I say they can't help. Maybe there's some tactics they use to try to avoid it, but
there's
like
that even they're humans. They you know, it is what it is. Andrew said it perfectly. Theory being, end up grading your own cards against each other, and it's just like you said, and it's just like I've said. It's just like Taj told me, and I continue to say what Taj told me. If a grader's looking at 5 of the same thing, it doesn't matter if they all meet the criteria of the grade, they get graded against each other. So if one looks less good than another, psychologically you're gonna be like, if that was a 9.8, this might be a 9.6, even if it fits the criteria, the limits, the scale of a 9.8. It's human. But you know what Brian said, that could be a great remedy for this when the technology catches up and AI or whatever it's called can do it all for us, and they don't have a brain, so they ain't got to use their opinion.
It's machine learning.
They don't have a brain.
Yeah, just feed it to the matrix. It'll kick out.
Feed it to the matrix. Chat GP grading cards or whatever it's called. Going to bed, Scandell. Good night.
Chat GPT. Yeah, good night, Scandell. Charles says Marvel cards vintage is before 1989.
Okay, I'm with it.
DO6 says pre-95 Marvel is vintage.
Dad, I don't call 94 vintage. Like, I just don't. But it might be. Why not? Dude, if we all started calling it vintage, I'd happily do that. That is not something I care to argue or care what we call it. Like, fine.
Is it just I guess defining how we measure that? Like, it's not in relation to your age, right? It's production year to year of evaluation.
Yes.
So it's like importing cars, right? To get into that topic again, you have to wait, was it 25, 30 years before you can legally import a car that's otherwise.
Once I knew this, now I don't. So whatever you say is going to be right.
I was looking this up. It's 25 to 45 years for antique designation.
Antique. We don't call cars antique though.
So you have classic,
cards, you said, or
cars?
Cards.
Yeah, we don't actually ever talk about like even a Honus Wagner. We don't call it an antique.
All right, let's see here. All right, I'm going to read it. Vintage cards are manufactured between 1919 and 1930. Antique cars, not cards, like automobiles, are manufactured from 1975 or earlier. A classic car is considered, wow, makes me feel old, manufactured 2000 or earlier.
Dang, we're classic as heck, man.
So classic.
We're classic.
So growing up as a kid, my dad would tell me that was it this way? Yeah, I think he would say he had this deal. It was like it was 20, 25, and 30. Like that it became something different. But this was in the 90s. So for something to be 30 years old, it was in the 60s, you know, so.
Right. I feel like it's between 25 and 30 years. Like, you're irrespective of what we're talking about. I feel like vintage starts to reflect at 25 to 30 years. Like,
I guarantee you, if I show like a teenager a 90 MU card, they're going to go, wow, that looks like one of them old baseball cards.
Oh, for real? Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like
the 90 MU is getting to the point where it looks dusty and yellow.
We're getting there.
It's so fascinating. It's just going to continue to change. It's not going to, like, what we're going to say today is not always going to hold up.
No, it's just like you always bring up how CGC was so silly in how they were qualifying their labels or categorizing the books early on. Yeah. And they're like, oh, we got to change this. This isn't going to hold up over time.
No, not at all. Dave says, oh, no, wait. Hold on. Let's go back here. Not 90, but 87. That's what he's saying is vintage. Let's see here. Can you say that Justin is vintage? I'm still kind of fresh.
He's classic. We're classic.
Mint is all that is expected from a company. I think Swish is a little behind. But he says mint is all that is expected from a company.
Swish.
Gem mint is a bonus. That's why raw card prices are gauged at an assumed 9 grade. A 10 is above standard. That's why it's rare and worth more than raw.
Solid statement.
What's that?
I think that's solid statement. I mean, everything is nuanced, but I think that's quite a solid statement. You were going to say?
9 is a high grade for some cards. Like,
so certainly.
Depending on the card. See your point.
A 9 out of a pack is perfectly reasonable. So I definitely agree with this. Derpa says, y'all have a good night. My antique butt needs to go to bed. Derpa,
All right,
good
bud.
night.
See you later.
Have a great evening.
All right, let's see here. Why Marvel before 89 considered vintage? Not a lot of supply, and most were stickers. So I really appreciate what Charles is saying here. I probably would phrase it just a little differently. I've been on record for saying that to me, there was a time where Marvel cards were more like a novelty item. Like it wasn't a collectible. It was more novelty. And that shifted in 90MU, really. 90MU was original art. It was actually created and put out by Marvel as a whole, not someone who just had the license like Comic Images. And I'm not saying there wasn't other Marvel stuff, but like there was a lot of intention and thought and detail, a whole department that was, geared towards it. If you haven't ever heard the story, it's really pretty interesting. I'll give you a brief synopsis. It was a guy, and I can't remember his name. I wish I could, but he was actually the one putting out the comic books for Transformers, G.I. Joe, I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Basically, what happened is Marvel had this division where other brands would come in and say, hey, we have these characters. We want you to draw and write the storylines behind them. We're going to sell merchandise. Does that make sense? So, hey, we have Transformer storyline. We need backstories. You guys write it and draw the comics and make the backstories. And they would write the bios that went on the toys themselves. That was coming out of Marvel. That's why Marvel made, you go buy a Marvel Transformer comic book. I mean, a Transformer comic book, it's made by Marvel. That's why. Yeah, even Marvel, though they don't own it. Well, this department was doing that. And there was a guy who was an engineer through his degree, but had a arts background. Like that was his, and he ended up basically working his way up in Marvel where he was the one writing about Transformers. That's why they have such a really good engineering, like names and backstory, because it was him that was doing it. Okay. Well, that died down in the late 80s, and he was over like anything not comic books, right? And they were like, well, what are you going to do? They were like, well, make a Marvel card set. And so he put that together, and it's called 90MU. And he had artists in the building do the art. Hey, Jim Lee, draw me a Wolverine. Hey, Joe Rubenstein, draw me a Spider-Man. Like that's what was going on. And he put this together, and he did a really good job, masterful job at it, if you ask me. Yeah. That's why it's the first Marvel set that's not Comic Images and so forth. And it's the first original art set. Think about that. It's the first masterpieces without being called masterpieces. It's not fantasy style, but I'm just putting it in perspective.
Yeah. So all the 66 Donruss stuff, that was from comic books?
I don't know the answer to that, but I would imagine yes. I can imagine.
Pretty original, those things going. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I would love to have the answer to that, and I could certainly be wrong, but to me, that's kind of what it lives right now in my mind without other information. That's the first original art set.
I have a few 66 things now. People don't know what I got. But
are you stacking over there?
I am. But the highest graded one I had was an 8. But now I have an 8.5 in one of the cards. And it's a friend of ours. It's a friend of the channels. It's a friend of the community. I want to remember I want to get the Instagram name completely right. I'm going to shout him out when the card's in hand anyway. The card's not in hand yet. But he made me a great deal. I got it. It's so funny because Spider-Man's not. Here's why I bought it. This is so silly, guys. All right. Obviously, we know there's a 66 card in the set where he doesn't appear on the front, but his face is on the back. And it's one of the earlier cards. So you can say it's the first card in the set with Spidey's face on it. And I think that's pretty significant. Well, part of that puzzle, it goes face, chest, crotch. So I have Spidey's first crotch. And that's why I bought it. The highest graded Spidey crotch from 1966 is now in my collection.
The old web shooter.
All
right.
Well, we're not even 3 hours in. I'm not supposed to say any of that until the third. Oh, no.
Yeah, we're not even in the third act yet.
Yeah, that's right, RMS. Spidey crotch, and I'll be sure to show it next week.
We'll have a censor bar.
Yeah,
right?
thank you for that. Yeah, kids. Yeah, turn it off, kids.
Oh gosh.
I'm
where am I at?
reading a little bit on Donruss, and it doesn't confirm or deny necessarily that it's original art or reused. It does say it's, from greats like Steve Ditko. So
I wonder if like the back, panel that's made was art made for that set though. That's interesting.
That might have been actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of these do look like they were taken out of their snapshots, taken out of panels that might have been colored, but it's almost like comic cuts. It's like artist interpreted comic cuts.
That could be it. Yeah, like, hey, let's make these look like true comic cards, like the panel of a comic. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, Vintage
I love
Lord
that
asked.
66.
Sorry, Vintage Lord asked the question. Anyone else in the chat see the original Star Wars movie in the theater in the 70s? My name is Vintage Lord for a reason.
Love that.
that.
I can't say that I saw it.
I wish I did. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
That's why Vintage Lord knows everything about the 66 Donruss set. Like he's an expert in that set actually. So that's very cool.
This is interesting. Okay, Andrew P says, I remember when the oldies radio station went from doo-wop to classic rock. Same thing. Same will happen to which cards are vintage. Look, we have a radio station called LA 105, Louisiana 105, which was classic rock, which now plays a ton of 90s music.
Right.
Because it's shifting.
Just keep shifting. And that's
do you remember when we were 14, 15? Do you know how old a 38-year-old was to us? Do you remember how?
Yeah.
Do you remember when you're 15 and someone's older brother is like 30? You're like, you geezer.
Yeah, I mean, my dad had me at 22, so he was 35. So I thought that was old for sure.
Wow. Yeah. Is geezer a bad word? I take it back. I'm sorry, guys. I really don't know.
Well, I mean, to a kid,
that's a protected class.
Protected. Yeah.
I think you're safe.
Religion, familial status. Yeah, that's.
Didn't say boomer. You're fine.
Age is a protected class.
Whoa! From the bench says only 170 total PSA 10s of the 66 Donruss full 66 card set. I mean, that's who sent 10s of that set in? That's impressive, though. 170 is an only, like you can say only, but it also strikes me as, wow, that's quite a lot. I wonder how many will be added to that. That's what I'm going to be curious to see. If the count is 170 now, mental note, boom, 2023, 170 10s.
Right.
In 5 years, I'm going to look at that again.
All right, I'm doing the quick little gem rate math here. 3%. So it gems about like a PMG.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I think for 2017 that is true. I think it's about 3%. But that's
I like that actually. Yeah.
Accurate.
Justin, you've got the whole set now, don't you?
Of what?
The 66 cards.
I know.
Not graded. I mean.
No. The whole set. I'm getting close.
Okay.
I'm getting close.
Okay, gotcha.
I've got some doubles.
You got it? You got the whole set?
Yeah. The second you posted a picture on Instagram, I was like, I'm on it.
My man. And when Brian's on it, he's on it. Awesome.
0 to 100.
Awesome.
All right. So what would you rather have? You'd rather have a red PSA 10 of Spider-Man from 2017, Fleer Ultra Spider-Man, or a PSA 10 of one of the Donrusses Spider-Mans?
I'd probably take the Donruss, to be fair.
Yeah, my emotions say Donruss, but if I'm selling it next week, my emotions, it's not my emotions talking, I'm always thinking both. I want both so I can sell one and keep one. How's that? Yeah. Oh, that's not the question? Dang it.
I'd rather have the Donruss, and was very fascinating to watch Dave from Dave's Sports Cards go through my cards and see a really nice assortment of rare stuff, low number stuff with sports brands and so forth. and then just completely be taken aback by seeing the Donruss.
I was so happy to see that happen.
Took them from me, went through them. Just now, fairness, he loves vintage cards. He made a so that is his style. That's what he likes to collect. But I still really appreciated that, and I was like, I just really want to honor this moment.
Yeah, to contrast that, he does like vintage cards. It's true, but he also is a heavy collector of modern numbered cards. It's not that he doesn't have an appreciation for that. You were, like you said in the video, I'm showing you all this numbered rare stuff, but your eyes lit up when you saw the 66. It's true. He does have an affinity for it, but still, that's a really important moment, and there's a lot to be taken from that.
Very true.
Vintage Lord, I'm gonna have to hit you up if you're willing to let go of some of those. And I'm not necessarily looking for them in high grade. I have a PSA 8 of Spider-Man. It's the card that I want in a higher grade. I'm actually really pleased with it. So
Vintage Lord, whatever Justin doesn't take, I'd be happy to talk to you about as well. I need to finish a set. I've just been working on graded ones, but I'm not going to have 66 graded ones. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not going to. Over time, I might.
All right, I'm gonna come to Charles. Well, let's do Charles real quick because we're still close to this conversation. Charles would rather have the PMG because he has the belief that the more Donruss PSA 10s can pop up at any time. I don't know what the population of those cards are. I imagine it's pretty decent, but a ton of PMGs have already been graded. A ton.
I think it's a fun conversation to have just for the sake of it, but no one actually has to make the choice, and I'm really grateful of that.
I think it's hard, right? Like enough time has passed from 66 that no one's sitting on a ton of sealed wax. It's not like we're going to get a lot of really good.
And it would be expensive. Like, if you have a sealed box of 1966, regardless of what you think about the set, like you're not going to get it cheap. I don't.
Would you open it?
Right?
It's like I would not. No. I would not open a 66 sealed box. That is awesome.
Imagine a case, right? We can still find, a year ago we could get cases of Fleer Ultra Spider-Man or, any of the other sets that have commanded high dollar PMGs. No one's getting a case in the 66 Donruss.
Right.
That would just be insane. I couldn't even.
That would be insane.
But see, that's the only
case. I could open a few boxes and sell out the other boxes.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear what you guys are saying. Dang it. I feel like I missed a lot. Oh.
Yeah. See, West Coast is with me. I'd rip that 66 box, rip it with joy.
I know he would. He would.
I'd grease my hair back. I'd put on a white, just a white t-shirt.
Yep.
I'd probably roll a pack of cigarettes in my sleeves. I'd sit back and I'd just rip it. I drive one of them antique cars you guys were talking about.
One of them antiques. What was it? 12 and a half years to be an antique? No, just
3-speed on the column. Let's go.
Man, wouldn't it? I would see, and I would enjoy watching you guys rip it. My imagination goes to having it in like one of those plexiglass sort of things and just staring at it like, oh, how cool, with its own little light in there. Like, oh, I'd be so enamored by that thing. Just really quickly, Captain Crockett did ask, it's an impossible question to answer without which book, but I will just loosely say, when you say, would you rather have a 9.8 direct edition comic book or a 9.4 newsstand? In most cases, I would rather have a 9.8 direct, in overwhelmingly most cases. But when you move into the era of incredibly rare newsstands, the 9.4 newsstand, I would prefer. The most exaggerated example I'll give you, we always use Ultimate Fallout 4, the first appearance of Miles Morales Spider-Man. Yeah, I know I talk about it a lot. But a 9.4 newsstand of that book is worth 4 or 5 times what a 9.8 direct of that book is. But that is because in 2011, newsstand distribution was like nothing. And no one respected, no one knew how to take care. No one knew they needed to take care of that book. The newsstand book of that book was 7-Eleven, Barnes & Noble, so on and so forth. They didn't know who Miles Morales was going to become. So it's nuanced, but most often I would take a 9.8 over a 9.4 newsstand. A 9.8 direct over a 9.4 newsstand.
Great response. We got a question here. Can you talk about the inserts for Marvel Beginnings and Avengers boxes coming out this month? Going to have PMGs? And the answer is no on both of those. They will not have PMGs. The Fleer Ultra Avengers box will have medallions, which I think will look a lot like PMGs. Similar, I think similar foiling, maybe a little variation of colors for sure, but I think it'll be similar. The Marvel Beginnings, I think the big thing that you're going to have there is what they're doing with comic cuts. I think there should be AF-15 comic cuts in those boxes. How many I don't know, but they're going to have these 4-panel cuts where they actually have a cut of a character from different eras of that character's life, whether it would be, say, from 70, 80, 90, and 2000, all in one 4-panel book. I think that's really cool. They're going to have autos in there from Creator Autos, with Steve Ditko being the big one, as far as I can tell. I don't know if someone like Stan Lee might end up in there. We've talked about this in the past, where they have signatures of creators who are no longer with us. They've been waiting to put them in a set. It looks like Steve Ditko is going to end up in the beginnings. And that's going to be, I think, pretty cool.
Marvel Cards up says, but no hollows.
Yeah. I have not seen where we're going to have hollows on any of the stuff they released.
Holograms come back.
Look, if you haven't seen the beginnings hollows from the first 3 volume release, volume 1, series 1, 2, and 3, go and look at them. They're incredible. They're expensive. They're not numbered, but they're not easy to hit. They're 1 in 3 boxes. I still don't own any of all the cards I have. I still don't own any.
Are they a full hologram, or is it that double one where there's art in the front, hologram in the background?
It's double.
It's the double one. Okay.
They're still beautiful. The Spider-Man is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But I've bid on some before. I got outbid at 1,100 on one of them, and I was like,
Well, since we're speaking about holograms and bidding, did you get the 3 cards
I was outbid. Not on purpose. I just honestly got completely slap busy and forgot.
Okay.
Long story short.
Whoever outbid you, they paid, I'm sure, well, and good for them. Yeah. Maybe it was our friend. And we just made it more expensive for our friend. Oh my gosh, I got to make up for that.
I hope not. I hope he got him. Really, I do.
Yeah.
So Diorama Rama says, Justin, I know you don't care for MCU cards as much as others, but you have any thoughts on Marvel Studios Allure coming up this month? I've actually been on record quite a bit saying I think that set's a little underrated. It's not going to be the level of Black Diamond, but to see what Black Diamond has done and how well it's held up, I think like there's an arbitrage there in terms of like where you can buy those boxes relative to where, I mean, Black Diamond still sells for what, $1,000 a box. It's really 1 pack. Wow. So to me, I think Marvel Allure is for people who like that kind of stuff, it's actually a pretty good price point. And I will be opening up some of it for fun.
I'll be enjoying that.
Yep. Charles says, Marvel needs another brand to come out soon, like Rittenhouse or something. This is the only way for Upper Deck to make better product. Competition is needed.
What happened with Rittenhouse? What's a little bit of the history there?
I don't know much about Rittenhouse, like the company. They at one time held the Marvel license, and they for 1 or 2 years actually shared it with Upper Deck, and then Upper Deck took it over entirely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And they made, there's still lots of people who actually hold Rittenhouse as a superior card making company than Upper Deck. And and I like Brian's eyes went up there, but it's sometimes we love what we don't have anymore. You know how that goes. If Rittenhouse was making this stuff today, I got some Rittenhouse cards sitting over here that I'm like, the base cards, I don't like them at all.
I haven't seen all of them, obviously, but I have some Rittenhouse bases that I really do enjoy. But I have seen a very small fraction of what is out there. Like Brittany says, she loves Rittenhouse product.
What they did with the 75th, the number to 75 golds over 3 different sets was, other than the Spider-Man and Wolverine art, it was perfect. Just love it. But the Spider-Man and Wolverine they selected was not good.
It was disappointing.
For me, it was.
Is that something you'd pull up and throw it on the screen? Let's, Brian, you know these cards, I'm assuming. I'd like to see what that is. Marvel Cards Up says they simply couldn't afford to keep it. Could have been it. They got bullied out by the big money. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Sorry, I was doing shameless promotion of this live stream.
You're good.
That's awesome.
I did hear a bit about Rittenhouse. What are we?
Oh no, I was. He's going to be pulling up 2 cards. He said there was a Rittenhouse out of 75 that they spread over 3 sets, and he said he enjoyed all of them except for Wolverine and Spider-Man. He was disappointed. I don't know the cards. I've never seen it, so I want to see what he's talking about. He's going to pull them up for us. And I said, I assume you know these cards.
Oh
yeah, let me.
I ventured into very few alternate sets outside of my Fleer Ultra Spider-Man passion, and the only reason I got introduced to various sets like Women of Marvel, Divas, like those are Rittenhouse produced sets, was for Spider-Woman, right? So I know what Micro looks like in all of these other lines, but I have no idea what the rest of the set looks like at all.
Right. I love that. I love that, actually. I love that. Like, I could tell you what the Venom card looks like in most all sets. I have no idea what else is in there.
All right, I found a picture of the Wolverine. I'm going to show it first.
Cool.
And then we will look for the Spider-Man. That's the
Addy
Wolverine.
Granov cards from the 70s. Addy Granov is so good.
Right.
You're mad at this Wolvie?
Well, let me show you the art that's on the other cards. And then you tell me this is on par. It's not that I'm mad at this Wolvie.
I think the composition's a little odd. I think the empty space on the lower left is a little odd, but but let's look at the other cards. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me go here, and hold on. Take me a second.
Ooh, destructive. That's a good question.
What's the question?
It says, would you prefer a new set from Rittenhouse or Topps? My nostalgia says, I want to see Topps on a set so bad, you know? But yeah, I guess my answer would be Topps just for the nostalgia. But Rittenhouse feels better. Like my soul feels more satisfied with Rittenhouse as the answer. Like there's better energy on that answer for me. Weird, strange.
Topps is masterpieces though, so.
Oh, they are? Oh.
Or no, sorry, Skybox. Jeez. Blanked on that. Sorry.
Yeah, I want to see some Marvel card refractors. I want to see some refractors. I think a superfractor is a refractor. I really don't know, but I want to see the oil spill chromy color on a shiny, smooth surface of a card.
I've got some Star Wars X-Fractors back today from CGC, but this is Marvel. We'll keep it Marvel.
No, we do Star Wars here. We do Star Wars here. It's all Disney, isn't
it? Right.
Oh, superfractors are 1 of 1. Okay. So that's the super element is that, not actually an aesthetic quality. Got it.
All right. I'm just going to start showing you a bunch of them. Okay.
Yeah, please.
So here is a Ghost Rider.
My reaction is going to be a bit delayed because I'm waiting for it to pop up over here. Okay. Amazing card. Amazing.
Clayton Crane.
Oh, why'd you have to tell me? It's still really good looking.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you.
He's a great artist, man. He's a great artist. I can't take that away.
All right. Let's see here. So we'll show the Doctor Strange. Give me a second.
One of the Spidey cards I have is from Rittenhouse is Clayton Crane. I didn't know that when I purchased it, and I still appreciate it.
Look at that. It's just the Wolverine was just.
I think you're reacting to what I reacted to. There's negative space that's not occupied with character or action.
It also doesn't fit the style. Like this isn't realism, but it's a level up from like just kind of cartoonish.
That Wolverine was very cartoonish. It was very like super cool cartoony, but not right. Animated series cartoonish, but more comic book where this is more painted.
Here's the Spider-Man. Oh my gosh. I get mad every time I see this card.
I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it. All right, I'm prepared. I'm ready.
See your face at the same time.
All right, I got to wait for it on the big screen. All right, here it comes. What? I guess I got it. Is it?
Again, I love Spider-Man. I wouldn't mind owning this card, but like this one's $600. I don't want to pay $600 for this.
It's not the greatest looking card.
I like it without the border.
You like it with
Say
what?
it again.
Without the border. So on the back side, they show it without the border, right? When you flip the card around.
Okay, I got you. Let me flip it around.
I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I
see
might
what you're
even
saying
love
there.
it in person. I got to see it. I don't think I'm ever going to see this one in person. It's out of 75.
All right, let me show
And
you
I agree with
another one.
Brian. It's better looking without the border.
All right, so here's Iron Man.
I mean, you know, I ain't
And
mad
again,
at it.
I just wanted them to follow the same style. Like, look at the Iron Man. See how it's more like the Doctor Strange and the Ghost Rider style wise?
Yeah, it's more like fantasy masterpieces.
Yeah, it's very like Julie Bell. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
This is actually a the promo. Sorry, it's not numbered to 75, but it's the promo of it.
still, yeah.
All right, now I've got to
Yeah.
find. I want to find the magic, and because these are the two cards I just sent for grading. Let's see here.
Find the magic. Aren't we all trying to find the magic?
The magic,
West Coast
magic, and is this Angelia?
J Biz says HHH disgusted face, disgust face, you know the word, for the Spidey. What's HHH?
Holy, I don't know.
Yay Bowl Collectibles. Good evening, my friend.
Let's see here. These cards are not easy to find.
Yeah.
Dave.
All right, let me find it in my ComC account. Give me just a minute here, guys.
Next vintage.
I think you're going to enjoy what this looks like.
Triple H, aka as a wrestler, and he must have a really iconic disgusted face. But that's West Coast Avengers letting us know. West Coast Avengers is a huge wrestling fan, and he once helped one wrestler in court for something.
Really?
That's how he told us the story here on air. You don't listen to
I
us.
don't remember that.
That scenario doesn't shock me, but the fact that it's only like 2 degrees separated from us is pretty impressive.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah. That's funny.
All right, wait till you see this, guys. Isn't that beautiful?
Looks good there. Let's see it here. Yeah, sure.
I love it. I think it's
I
great.
don't love it. I think it's nice though. Brian, your take?
I'm also in the like it, not love it, right? If I was at Cold Stone, I would be ordering the like it, not the love it.
How that works.
Oh, the ice cream sizes.
Right?
That's what they were. I'm going to tell you what, I might even end up telling you tonight. There was one day that I stopped going to Cold Stone, and it's because they removed vanilla bean as one of their ice cream flavors. I'm a vanilla fan, but it's got to be bean. Don't give me vanilla. I need vanilla bean. They got rid of that. I got rid of them. Dang, I miss Cold Stone.
Look at this magic.
I do like
It's all
that.
right, Justin. Oh, Brian loves it.
It's the dynamic contrast with the blade. That's what's drawing me in from like an Art Deco style. Like this has me.
Oh, you know the posters that are done in this style, the minimalist straight lines contrast. That's got this going on. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew,
I look at this. Andrew, you and I, Andrew, you know this,
Makes
right?
sense.
You know this. Yeah.
It's I'm beginning to think that that you're secretly over here pretending to be Andrew. I mean, like you're pretending you're not Andrew, but you're really Andrew.
I'm a lot of these people in the chat.
Are you pumping your own stuff through a fake account over here?
Listen,
called Andrew.
Listen.
I am my
People
own
taught me a couple of things. All right. I know what I'm doing. Okay. The P stands for the P is Andrew's name. I'm not going to say the P
Andrew
stands for pump. That's the insult. No. I won't say that. Andrew, that's his last name.
Andrew P stands for Andrew Precision Collecting.
Heck yeah.
He collects exactly what he means to.
Heck yeah.
Hold on. We got JBS says Magic looks like a Cloud from the Final Fantasy.
Like Cloud the character.
Oh, okay. I did not play Final Fantasy.
I remember Final Fantasy.
There, yeah. I never played it, but I had some friends that were big into it. I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like 75th. I like Rittenhouse. I like these cards. I'm just still mad about the Spider-Man. That is that expensive as
Right.
well.
The Wolvie, now I get it. Like in comparison
Yeah.
to these, the Wolvie didn't feel elegant enough, or whatever the word is.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same tone. It wasn't the same type of art, right? Like when you look at 95 masterpieces, right? Even though you had 3 artists handling the bulk of that set, they painted these things, the original paintings, and they came across stylistically different, but aesthetically they matched. And that's what I miss about a lot of these sets.
Yeah, I just think like if they would have used like a Delato Spider-Man, it would have fit. You know, something like that. You said Grenade, like if they would have used one of his Spider-Man, like it would have fit. For sure.
That was fun.
I would love to see something like that again, though, like Rittenhouse, where you have 3 sets where you got to build. And there's the cool thing about those, there's no parallels. It's just 75. Wait, is there an out of 10 parallel? There may be an out of 10 parallel. What am I thinking of?
Yeah, what do you imagine they did differently? Different color border?
Well, what's the diamond out of 10? That's not a parallel to the 75.
No, that's parallel to Rittenhouse Divas.
There we go. Yeah, I'm just making sure. Yeah, there's no parallel to it.
Yeah.
DO6, which 95 Venom? Are you talking Flair Ultra? Or are you talking Masterpieces? I'd like to know, and I'm trying to remember the 95 Masterpieces Venom. I know it. I'm trying to remember which one is which, but
I think he's talking about the buyback.
Oh, right.
Okay.
I think. So Diamond, Ruby, Emerald, that's of the base cards parallel, not of the 75th.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh, I totally missed some auction.
Oh, did you really?
Forgot.
Yeah.
Completely forgot. But it's okay. I forgot for a good reason. This is fantastic.
Either of you buying original art right now?
No, man, I haven't gotten into that. Brian, I feel like you might be dabbling in that.
It's someone presented me with an original Spider-Woman piece the other week, and they're supposed to get me a price on it, but I haven't heard back from Fausto. And hopefully I hear back from him, but I still have yet to dabble into that world. Someone just posted, I think it's an account that one of you guys follow and introduced me to today. Someone just was up in Portland at a museum, and they had the original cover to ASM 252.
That's West Coast Dave, right?
Yeah, Dave did a whole beautiful video on that place. Yeah, West Coast Dave Ventures. Yeah.
Oh, that's him? Oh, cool. We just became friends today.
Lovely. And he's been diving into original art he's diving. He's diving. He head first.
Yeah. Off the high board. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mad about it right now.
What?
It's definitely a different level of anxiety. Like if I miss out on a card, I don't get. Actually, I don't know that I get worked up at all about it. Like it doesn't do much. But when you're talking about negotiating, having conversation about original art, like for me, there's just been a different level of anxiety attached to it. I'm still processing how to handle that and whether I even should be in that space very much, but I do want to, there's some pieces I want to grab.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I want Marvel Snap original art.
Snapper? The Marvel Snapper?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it like Pokemon Snap?
I just Pokemon. You sound like two geezers. Good God.
I just wanted to see Justin's face. That was worth it. That was worth the price of admission.
It's going to cost. Admission's going to cost you. That's for sure.
Yeah. There's a sale.
I was trying to get this original art of Spider-Woman.
Oh, okay. Word.
But it didn't work.
Oh, there's a Spider-Woman cover. I want to know if Brian has. I love this thing so much. Let me try to find this cover. You might, dude. What I might even be in love with it because you showed it to me. I don't know, but I'm gonna pull it up.
While you're doing that, I was trying to get this Thor original art. You really can't see it here, but
yeah,
Jane Foster Thor. It didn't work. I missed out. All right. So, question, Manu, can you see? Do you like this better? I wish I could see. I wish you could see
Keep
that
it there.
better.
Keep it there. Hold on. Keep it there. Keep it there. It's not focused, but from what I could see,
Ah,
it looks
there it is.
great. But it's not. Oh, it's focusing now. All right, give me a sec. I dig that. That's dope.
Would you rather have that or this Venom?
All right, give me a sec. Ooh, I can't really.
Yeah,
I think
you
I
can't
like
really
the
make it out.
Rogue better than the Venom. I think I like the Rogue better than the Venom, but I can't see it completely.
Different
Or
style of art too.
same
Yeah.
artist, but yeah, a little different style. Can you see the Scarlet Witch here?
Oh, I've seen that one before. Yeah.
Yeah, these are all on Marvel Snap. It's original art from Marvel Snap.
I love the artwork in Marvel Snap. Just period. I love the artwork in Marvel Snap. It makes me smile. It's
So
quality
of
stuff.
those, you would rather have the Rogue? Is that what I'm picking up on?
I'd probably rather have the Venom because it's Venom, but I really liked the way that Rogue looked.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool looking.
Mhm.
I'd like to see them more. I
Yeah.
am going to ask you to pull up this comic book whenever you have a second, because I'd like to get your reaction on it.
Yeah, go ahead and
yours
tell.
and Brian.
Yeah, go ahead and tell me what it is so I can be looking for it.
Yeah, it's Spider-Woman #9, the 1 in 25 variant. I'll even write it in the chat. Oh, there goes my AirPods.
There's a
Spider-Woman #9.
There's a few books I've seen lately that I've thought about picking up from her.
Is it a Rose Besh variant?
Yes.
Okay. And I have seen this before.
I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
think it's so cool.
I think we've actually shared this on the channel before.
Maybe. Like, I just know when I first saw it, I loved it.
Yeah.
But it was longer than 50 weeks ago that I first saw it. For sure.
it's-
But look, isn't that dope?
It's really dope.
Do I have that?
Do I have that? I love that.
You're gonna have it now. I know that.
Oh no,
This is-
Brian! If you're going to be a guest, you got to be able to hang with Dave. Dave would have already grabbed it. Oh, you need that rare thing? There's only 3 of. I got it right here.
Right. Is this expensive? This book? I've never really followed its price because I wouldn't mind
It was
having this.
it
in
was
my
on, it was
collection.
on Comic Con for a while.
It's not that expensive. I did look at getting that at a pre-grade 9.8, but I focused on a few other of her books.
Sure.
That has always been one that I've liked. I don't think I took a break from her books to focus on my AF-15.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, back to the
and
road.
You're doing
so,
amazing.
so Manu, how would you?
Yeah.
So, like, let's say I have an opportunity to get. I have the Rogue Just Go art.
Yeah.
This Rogue from Marvel Snap has popped up, original art, and another Rogue from Marvel Snap is a variant original art. Like all 3 of those have popped up. Should I just, because they're all Rogue, should I just go with it?
I mean, I don't know if you want to tell us prices, but I don't have any answers unless there's prices involved.
Oh, that wouldn't be fair.
I know,
this-
but I can't. There's
seller.
no those.
I don't
that
have a problem
question-
telling you the price.
I know, but yeah, I get it.
Let's just say
but,
they're reasonable. Like in the vein of like, when people realize there's original art from Marvel Snap, like I'm probably going to regret having said all this on camera and their prices might go up, you know?
I mean, if it's reasonable, just for the what if and the cool of having it, the what if, what might happen with
Mhm.
it, and the cool of having it, why wouldn't you get it if it's reasonable?
Yeah. Well, that's actually makes me lean to Venom, you know, if I'm doing it for that reason.
Ooh.
'Cause he's more popular.
You when you were showing me those, you were saying those are on your plate for original art?
Yes.
Whoa, get the Venom. Are you kidding?
Really? I'm leaning
Dude,
towards
a
the
Venom original thing? I just love Venom. I'm sorry, but I would want the Rogue too. The Rogue looks really good. But original Venom, I mean, I probably wouldn't frame the Rogue. I'd frame the original Venom. Well, actually, it's original art. I would frame it. It's not a card. It's not a comic book. It's
Yeah.
original art. I would have it on display for sure.
Yeah.
Andrew P says, Justin, I'm surprised your Bianchi piece didn't send you into collecting into original art wormhole. That piece is so great. Thank you, by the way.
It's so beautiful. That piece. I can't believe it's not framed. I can't believe it's not the centerpiece of your background at the moment.
Well, so
It's at the framer.
Did you watch the? No. It's actually not at the Framer. I kind of like it. It's the paper quality is rather thick, so it doesn't need anything to hold it up. Like it doesn't fold or flop.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how you have those just little comic book stands you can put a graded comic book in.
Yeah.
You just stand straight up and down. I just have it sitting in that on my where my TV is in my study.
I've seen where you have it displayed. Yeah.
It's at the top, and I have two black costume Spider-Mans posed in front of it. One of them in the Secret Wars pose and the other one in the 3-point pose that I like so much.
I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I do indeed.
But that, along with the Just Go Rogue, it's kind of had me looking into original art. But you don't get to $50, $75 your way into that hobby like you can Marvel cards.
I got my vampire black tongue red lip woman print. I love it. That's everything I want in my partner in life. Right there.
I've learned so much about you in such a short.
This is not original art, obviously. It's a $30 print from an artist, but I just love because it's this kind of stuff. There's a different place in my house that has this kind of stuff on the wall. One day
you'll want her to drink motor oil, but know how to put on lipstick really well and take quite the bite out of an apple. Got it.
There's so much to be said about that, I'll tell you.
Keith says the artwork in Snap makes Manu smile, but only makes me disappointed. It's interesting.
Yeah, tell us more about your disappointment. I mean, not that it makes me happy to hear that you're disappointed, but express, please.
That Spider-Woman book, by the way, goes for about $350.
That's what I was thinking.
At a 9.8.
No, I just saw one that's $280. Buy it now, so I wouldn't. So yeah, so no. I mean, no, sorry. I didn't mean to come at you that way, Brian. I didn't mean to come at you that way. Sorry. I might be wrong. It might have been a starting bid of 280. I'm going to look at it again.
Yeah, there's one right now that's 200, but it's raw.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. End up with a 960. Be really upset.
Messages here.
No, you're right. You're right. There's no 280. There's no 280.
It must have already been purchased. What's the purchase history?
As Manu put
it
up.
It is. It's right here. It's $267. Buy it now. It is. It's right there. I'm looking at it. It's there. $267. Buy it now.
Oh man.
21 watchers on it. They're waiting for a discount. There's 21 people hoping that it goes less than $267. This book will be $200 in a short time.
Yeah, I'm not in a rush on that one.
And I personally would like it just to be raw, but not for $200, right? Like if someone sold me a high grade raw $60, $70, I'm in there.
Yeah, last one was for $150 raw.
It's coming down.
It's
coming down. It's just a variant. You know how variants go. They don't. Yeah.
The chat is on fire on my Instagram, but I'm going to show you guys something. Give me a second here because I think you'll appreciate this since we're late in the show. Everyone else have to watch this on another show. But
Andrew, I do want to do that. I don't have one of those, but I do want to do that. I'm going to frame it and put it on the wall, though, Andrew. Sorry. Yeah.
No, keep going. Keep stalling while I pull this up. So I ordered something to do with Marvel Snap, and I'm about to show you. I don't know when I'm going to get it, but I'm going to show you what I ordered because of some other stuff too. It's really pretty cool.
Okay.
All right. Here and
testing 1, 2.
Boom. Oh. All right. You all right over there, Manu?
Yeah, I had to switch ear pods and it worked. It worked. It usually sometimes doesn't work.
Perfect. Well. So what makes Keith sad is that Marvel Snap has this great artwork in the game, but we don't quite get that in Marvel cards. So I ordered a set of Marvel cards made in Marvel Snap art.
Who made these?
The mini guy, the mini G. I don't know how you say his name. He made it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
But they're mini size. They're tiny. They're not big.
Tiny.
I still am excited to get the pack and open it.
Fun. Very fun.
Look at this. You can get, he made a Marvel Gems version.
Oh, I've seen this.
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck? It's the size of a quarter?
Yes.
Big shout out to whoever makes these. This is fun stuff.
Isn't
That's
this fun?
awesome. That's so
Look,
awesome.
it comes with
what else does he
cards.
make? Let's see some other boxes he offers, like some more of the vintage stuff. Let's see some of the vintage type stuff.
You're gonna like the vintage then, because like he made the box look vintage here for this. What's in there? Magic the Gathering.
That's funny. That's funny. Now let's look at something that we know what we're looking at.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll do better. Hold on. All right, here's one.
Who is driving the bus?
This is 90MU vintage box with mini sealed boxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
Mini packs.
And do we order from him directly from his Instagram, or where do we purchase from him?
He actually has a Pinterest account, and I think I can link this in the chat actually. And I ordered from him today because he was raising money for his niece. Let's see here. Can y'all see my chats?
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes.
That's all right.
Yeah, Manu.
West Coast Dave says Manu is spicy tonight. Spicy hits.
Spicy hits. All right, let me link this here for you guys. It's going to take you to the Marvel Snap, but there.
Cool.
All right. I don't know if you can copy and paste that out of the chat, but it's pretty cool. I was happy to order
it. It opened up on the desktop.
Beautiful to support them, and then I just thought it was fun. Like I want this set. I want it made by Marvel. I want it everywhere. I want it overprinted. I want to have fun with it. Until then, I buy a mini set and support somebody who's out there hustling.
Oh, he only has 3 options on his Etsy, though.
We'll message him.
Yeah, I will. Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh, there's a 92 masterpieces. Oh, I'm getting that right now.
That's fun.
How awesome.
Sorry,
wait. Oh my gosh, guys, you threw me for a loop here, but this does not mean it's unreasonable. I just didn't know. I'm still going to order something, but I don't know if I'm going to buy. This is more than a $20 decision because 6 packs are $5. But I want the box. Dummy box with 2 cards, not packs, is $25. Box with 2 packs is $32. Box with 20 packs is $105. I want box with 2 packs. Done.
So I did a box with a bunch of packs because I want to open.
You did the 100. You good? No, yeah. I mean, you do
$75.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay, the 92 masterpiece is a little higher premium because it's vintage.
Yeah, it may be. I don't know if I think there's more art. I think there's more cards. Like there's 100 that he has to print. Where in the Snap, I don't think there's that many.
If he does Fleer Ultra Spider-Man 95, I'm in for a box. That would be too cool.
He has a comment in the chat.
He does? Hello?
What do you mean, Brittany?
We're shopping your stuff right now. I don't know. I said add to cart, and there it is. It's in the cart now. Fantastic.
All right. Old timer says, I was thinking of doing some of the air fresheners with Marvel Snap art. Also print on metal and have small metal cards that may work for it. Interesting.
Everybody likes metal. And Marvel.
Can you imagine getting that? Can you imagine getting that row printed like it's Flair? Let's say sitting in your CGC slab. Oh yeah. So he's talking about like the original art that I have the opportunity to buy. Like I think that would be great. That's another reason why I want to grab the art is, what if somebody wakes up and they, does something intelligent and makes that into a trading card set.
Yeah.
And I happen to have the original art at that time. That'd be really cool.
Oh, technically, wouldn't you be the one to hold the license rights if you own the original art? They'd have to get that into a set, or you'd have to start shopping it. Hey, I want to put this in a card set.
Brittany says, "Isn't it Charlie?" Charles.
So he said, no, he's not. I don't think she's referring to the maker of the boxes. Charles says, I created 100 Star-Lord original art AI pictures in like 2 seconds.
You're such.
And then he says, he's such a talented artist. I can create original art of any set in one day using AI. Smiley face. Oh, man.
I'll be back, guys.
Like 2 above mine.
Yeah, what's his name? I can't believe we missed it.
No, I did miss it, I guess.
I'm not screen sharing, am I? No.
No. You're not like me. Brittany, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, okay. Old time. Yeah, she was talking about old time. Very good.
Okay. Okay.
That's all right. Yep. We still were able to highlight his comment. West Coast Dave said AI is not art.
It's not man-made. I'm not even going to argue with Dave. I know exactly what he means.
Zelda 420. What's up, man? Spidey hits,
Zelda!
baby. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Pep Killer in the building.
What's up, Pep Killer?
What up? What up?
I do want to get back to this. AI art is not art. Is that true because you said it?
Stop. You know what he means.
No, is it not respectable art?
That's the thing. It's hard to respect it, right? Like, who do we credit for how amazing it looks? Because look, there's some stuff that I've seen, and there's no shortage of it. I'm blown away. The environments it creates just by telling it what you want it to create. It looks so good. And if I knew a human created it, how much respect and admiration I'd have for that human, I couldn't quantify. And it's hard for me to have that connection with the art. It's almost unfair. It's almost like, how is this so great? I feel bad for creators because it's kicking out amazing looking things. It's got the cheat. It is the cheat code. It's the cheat code.
I've seen a lot of artists from the 90s card sets have these debates on their personal Facebook pages, the few that I happen to be connected to. Some of them, teach art as a profession now that they've largely retired from drawing Marvel cards. And the debate is very divisive amongst people who earn a living by putting pen to paper. And rightfully so, they're protective of what they've spent their years mastering and learning. As someone who used to draw and wanting to make a living of drawing myself, I get it. And to have quite literally a computer step in and be like, by the way, I'm doing your job now too. It's like, wait a second. I went to college for this.
But I can't wait until the computers replace graders.
Oh, I'm laughing so hard at this. AI can certainly write a rap though.
Nice.
I mean, AI was still made by a human. So
AI was still made. Oh, you mean the program?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get into a circular argument here, but okay, so this has me thinking about art that is deemed not respectable. Okay, so I'm going to go way back in time, and I'm going to show you a painting.
Days.
All right, this is a
Spawn's
painting.
Cape.
This is the death of a virgin is what it's called.
It's like it's Julie Bell. Julie
Bell. Hold on, let me tell you what this is from. If I do this, am I going to lose you? Hope I won't. It's an Italian painting. I'm sorry. Death of a Virgin, and it hangs in the Louvre Museum in Paris, which is an amazing museum. If you get to go there, maybe one of the best in the world. But here's this painting was deemed not respectable when it was painted. Let me tell you why. Not for the same reason we're saying AI is not respectable, but back then, when people would commission a painting, it would literally take a year for an artist to create it. So the painting that you're looking at here is literally like 12 feet tall and probably 10 feet wide or something crazy. Like it's huge. And they would spend a whole year painting it. And they would use models, obviously. So here you have Mary, who, at this time is considered a deity type thing. Okay. Not getting into the theology of it, but just know that that's the regard. Okay. And that's why her death is being painted here. And the artist actually pulled a dead prostitute out of the Seine River in Paris, and used her corpse as the model for painting Mary. it became
Bro,
a
you
scandal.
really pulled out an example, my friend. Like, oh wow.
It became a scandal when it was discovered that this artist would use a prostitute's dead body as a model for Mary, the mother of Jesus. And
Do you think that actually happened, or was that like shock marketing back in the day?
I mean, this is just what I was taught. Okay. So I'm just telling you what I was taught.
Yeah.
And that artist was like blacklisted because of it. Like it significantly impacted their career. Now it hangs in the museum and is thought of to be like the just, wow, this amazing piece, all this stuff around it. You know what I mean? Like it's really interesting what, and one time in history is deemed that's not respectable. You can't do that. And that's actually what makes it the piece now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
But I can totally understand why it was not respected at that point. Cause like how it's the Virgin Mary and it was a dead prostitute. That's like, you couldn't have written that in a more jaw-dropping sort of way. So I can understand that. And that controversy over time, I understand why is incredibly significant and noteworthy. So that makes sense to me on both ends completely.
And painting was like their movies, like these things were unveiled at the end of the year of this big commission, so that was their headline entertainment. How dare this,
the
and then
dignity of the poor girl. Yeah,
around. Yeah. Anyways, that's what the not respectable reminds me of, and sometimes it changes over time.
I mean, it's got bad energy. It's got bad energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The way in which that was created, came from a not so good place. Whether it was, because it involved, pulling a dead person, a body from a river, well, that's a little iffy. I know there's museums dedicated to like dysfunctionally created artists and pieces where you'll read the creative process, and you're like, is that really art? Mm-hmm. But I think that's starting to get further and further away from the argument of, is AI created art really art? Like, I think we're just detaching the human emotional element, right? The story that went into that creative process. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as, digging up dead people, but
yeah. Again, it's not. I'm just focusing on the not respectable part. And actually, as I'm reading here, it says it's thought that the modeled prostitute was possibly his mistress.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
This is on Wikipedia, right?
This is Wikipedia. I don't remember reading that in the Louvre when I was there, seeing this painting in person. In fact, I have. I think I could do this quickly. I actually have the actual picture of the actual painting on my phone that I took with my phone.
Cody says, art has always been about innovation. AI art is undoubtedly art.
Interesting.
I don't think any of us are arguing that it's art. I just think it's art that we appreciate in a way that is very different from how we appreciate other art.
I like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point. Like, now this thing, which was caused this person like to be ran out of town, so to speak, maybe not literally, is now one of the centerpieces in the museum in the same town all these years later.
I think Brian was touching on this a little bit. That conversation about that painting is that element of respect, not the element of art. Like somebody painted it, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing about the AI is like, who do you clap for? Who do you say, dang, you did such a great job?
The coder.
I mean, I guess you can get really good at telling the AI what to do. That's got to be a skill in itself, to play the algorithm or whatever.
I guarantee you, not everyone can do it.
I'm not arguing with you on that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, art is a term that starts to get played around quite loosely. I think there's some movie where Dave Franco is calling everything art. You go to Subway and order a sandwich. That person's making you a sandwich is therefore art, right? It just starts to get really, really gray areas here.
Yeah.
Therefore art.
I'm comparing AI art to a Subway sandwich. It's
right.
It's about as tasteless
Stop. I've had some great Subway in my time.
The teriyaki chicken's pretty good.
Oh, I remember those days, man.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
Subway, yeah, we used to eat that. Does anybody eat that anymore?
It's one of the most profitable franchise chains out there. So,
Is it really? Good for them.
Someone's eating it, yeah.
Good for them.
I have to show you this real quick because I think you'll enjoy this.
I remember when there was this thing floating around the internet. They said the Subway bread has yoga mat material in it. What does that even mean? Like, why would that mean?
That's me jumping out of a baobab tree in Africa.
Nice. What? Hold up. Let me see. Let me wait till it pops up. Where's this thing at? What? Wait, how old are you? When is this?
This is in 2014.
Oh, for some reason I thought this was like 14-year-old you.
No.
It has
amazing.
Let me hit stop sharing for a minute.
Wow, that's cool.
I can't. Oh, there's a better picture. Okay, that's the better one. I'll share that one real quick.
And why does the bread smell like that? It smells good, don't it? It's been a while since I. Oh, I see. I see.
Wow.
That's in West Africa, but I want to get to the Paris photos. Hold on. Let me get to that.
This was on the same trip, like in the same outing from the States?
Yeah, I spent 10 days in West Africa, which was absolutely beautiful. And then
Marty McFly. Dio just called you Marty McFly. Nice.
And then I laid over in Paris and hung out for a few days.
Oh, okay.
It was super cool. By myself mostly, which was even better.
The Louvre is huge though. Like it took me like 3 or 4 hours just to get through one wing, and I was like, I don't have time to look at all of it.
I did one day there by myself, and then I felt like I was running through the second half of it. That is certainly true.
I was eating Subway at the Louvre. They called me tasteless and kicked me out.
Well,
I would love to take you through the Louvre and let you critique all the art. That would be absolutely fun.
Oh,
that would be the next podcast. All three of us, we should just show up and be like, we're going to critique everything in here.
Hey. Right. I'll meet you there. I'm busy tomorrow, but Wednesday.
All right. Yeah, I'm good Wednesday.
All right. Okay, here we go. I'll show you this because I always think this is funny. It looks like I'm cropped in, like I'm not really there.
It does, right?
This was AI generated.
Yeah, I didn't have anyone with me, so I had to take my own selfies.
Yeah.
I guess I could have asked somebody else.
This is the guy that didn't know how to code his inquiry or his query with AI.
Make it look like I'm in Paris. Enter.
Also, I didn't take a razor with me on this trip, so I hadn't shaved in like 12 days.
But all your hair only comes in this one area right here. It's all good.
I know. Oh yeah, you saw that? Yeah. Look, I wished it grew elsewhere, but it doesn't. It just makes me have one of those freaking goatees. Oh, I hate it.
We all had our times.
Yeah, tell me about it. Where is this photo? I do want to show you this.
There's a short while where I was channeling RDJ Tony Stark, and I was doing the.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, it was bad.
All right.
It was great.
There's the actual painting.
Picture of the painting. Very cool.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it has the same gold border from that 75th set.
Yeah, but the composition of the placement of the card is much better.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of people saying sketch card, one of one sketch card. No. Oh, no. Yeah. Never mind. Sorry.
Why would we not say sketch card one of one?
No, it wasn't that. What they are one of ones, but every sketch card's a one of one. It's a little redundant. It's a little, I get it, but every sketch card's a one of one.
It's redundant to the learned collector, but like if you were watching Loot Box TV's Box Break, like trying to help Michael, who hasn't opened any modern Marvel cards ever, like he's opened it up. He goes, "What is this? Oh, it's a sketch card. Oh, cool." Like it still didn't dawn on him that it's a hand-drawn one of one. There's not another one. Like, so you had to use that language to.
Right. There was a friend the other day that someone was trying to sell a sketch card to, and in the message, it kept saying one of one sketch card. Like at that point, we get it. We know what it is. All right. Someone drew it. It's one of them.
I think that I get upset whenever it's like that's why, like, that's what makes it special, is that it's a one of one. No, what makes it special is it's a piece of art on a card and there's only one of them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I do. Oddly enough, a memory popped up. Thank you for that, Manu. I appreciate that, my friend. You're welcome. Or I feel bad saying you're welcome. I like thank you better. Thank you, my friend. So there was from 124 weeks ago, I put up a story on my Instagram. And this is funny because at that point in time, all I was doing was reacting to a card that I thought was really cool. And it did happen to be a Masterpieces 2020 Masterpieces sketch card. But I didn't know either of you at that point. I didn't know any of my friends in the chat at that point. I wasn't having sketch card conversations. But this is a sale that I saw take place 124 weeks ago, whatever that is. It sold for, it was a best offer accepted under $125, which now after speaking to you guys, I'm like, wow, that was a bargain, because it was a Venom sketch, 2020 Masterpieces, absolutely gorgeous. And all I did was screenshot the sale and say, I support the F out of whoever purchased this. And then when I saw that the other day, I was going through my archived stories, or maybe it was a memory, I don't remember it. I stumbled upon it for some reason, and I just thought of you. I was like, here I was 124 weeks ago shouting out a sketch card, but not from the same perspective that we talk about now. And now, you guys are sketch card aficionados or experts and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Brian is very much an expert in sketch cards. Tell us more, Brian.
Yeah, thanks for putting me on the spot.
Yeah, do, please.
I love them so much, I grade them all.
And you get 9 5s on them.
Why would you ever grade a sketch card? They're literally damaging the card when they sketch on it, and it's a one of one.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how they give it a grade, considering they've just destroyed the entire surface. They've painted all over it.
What was actually happening in my head when I brought that up was I was remembering that I giggled when your friend that you were doing, Dave from Dave's Cards, you were doing he was saying pop one of one about stuff like pop one, but one of one. Yeah. And you never say pop one of one. Like, really, no one does. I think that's a very Dave thing. Dave, love you. I just thought that was cute. And then you started saying it in the video, referring to one pop ones. You're like, pop one of one. And I was like, oh, Dave got him.
Did I really say that?
You did, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So that's all. I thought it was funny. Not a bad thing.
I have to go back and watch that.
Funny thing. Yeah.
Pop one of one. Did I really say that?
Gentlemen, I hate to bow out, but it is the bewitching hour for this.
What is it? 8 o'clock over there on the West Coast? Come on.
I wake up.
What a pleasure.
4:45. So
respect. Love that.
Look, we're gonna sign off with you, Brian. Look.
Oh, I didn't mean to shut it down.
No, I need to go too. It is actually almost midnight here, but I have had a blast, and I really do appreciate everybody watching. Manu, love you, man. Thanks for coming at me tonight. That was fun.
That was fun, my friend. That was fun. I enjoyed our conversation. Brian,
did you say West
what
Coast?
A pleasure having you here, man. That was so cool.
No, yeah, I totally am just like honored to be amongst you guys, and always fun chatting. So, Manu won't punch you in the face, but he will speak some words that make you feel like you got punched in the face.
Oh gosh.
I love it.
When Justin was doing this bit,
Yeah. I went straight Irish. Yeah.
It's spicy.
Look, it's spicy. Now, look, I love it when Manu and I are able to bring some tension, because that's what gives it shape. It's good. It makes for a good show. But everybody in the chat, really appreciate your engagement, your comments, your thoughts. All of it was wonderful. You are the content, and I really do appreciate it. Brian, love you and appreciate you, man. Thanks for everything you do in the hobby, what you're working on. I'm really excited about. Looking forward to that as well. Manu, you're the best. Appreciate you.
Thank you, my friend.
Everybody, thank you for watching. Do me a favor. If you hadn't hit the like button, like this says right here, do you see that? Did you read it, Manu? Spidey, hit the like button. Do that for me. But as always, I hope you have a marvelous day.